losers bracket round 1, season 6 Wind Waker randomizer race going on for you tonight. It's Pix versus Jarhead on comms. We got Claire and Koala. You guys can take it from here.
Yo, thanks.
Hello.
For some reason it was like, we've got Pix and Jarhead on comms. I'm like, oh, Jarhead's joining us.
They're calming their own right. They have to give their own commentary on while they're playing. It's like
kind of interesting. It's like a VC race. You're just in a voice call together.
Oh, I assumed
basically just evolves into that would be interesting too.
Well, it would be a terrible viewer experience.
Probably. Yeah, no, all I know is that anytime you do a Wind Waker race in a voice call, it just evolves into people saying they're already beating Ganon or have light arrows in like the first 2 minutes. That's a great time.
It's that, and a lot of people reacting to items they got and trying very hard not to hint at what the item is, or they'll be like, "Oh," and it's like, but you can usually suss out with context clues, like what they were talking about doing 2 minutes ago. It's like, oh, so you got that there, huh?
It's a fun time.
Are you in go mode yet?
I was in go mode 3 minutes ago.
Yeah.
The race hasn't even started. I'm in go mode. You're not?
I have had that experience before though of because I know some people who play Wind Waker Randomizer a lot more casually. They're not really into the racing scene, but they will occasionally ask for races like within that friend group. And I was invited to that by a friend of mine who's in that group. And so whenever I play with them, it's always a really awkward, like, they'll be joking about, like, yeah, I'm totally about to beat Ganon. And I'll be like, I just beat Ganon.
Like, but actually, though. Also, before you added the stipulation of friends who play a lot more casually, I'm like, oh, you also know people who play Wind Waker Randomizer? That's crazy. I as well.
No, yeah. They're people who are not involved in racing at all.
So anyway, we've got Pompey and Vera.
Are those their names?
Yeah, I noticed that those are their names. I figured we'd call attention to it really quickly.
This is starting on Diamond start.
This is where you, as a runner, you have to place the bet of, is this going to be hinted Baron or not?
Yeah,
do I jump off this island and then check my hints and then find out it's Baron, or do I just bite the bullet and go in? And they're both biting the bullet and going in.
That's why it's my least favorite start now. And I have had seeds where I've spawned here, done the island, gone and checked my hints, and it's like, Diamond Step is foolish. And it's like, why couldn't you have...
Coral, why don't you start on the island with me?
Why can't I shout down to Coral? I have ears.
But yeah, I'm definitely in this camp, though, where if I start here, I just go.
Oh, no!
Oh. Pic's getting grabbed off the rip, which is, not fun.
Oh, there's a key on the, second chest. We can talk a little bit about... We didn't really talk about what their, runner's agreements were, did we?
That's true, we were too busy memeing at the beginning.
So, these two are playing Season 6, but also with key lunacy, so their keys can be anywhere, and for their dungeons, and dungeon entrance rando. So the entrances to their dungeons are randomized among all the dungeon entrances, and it looked like that second chest had the big key for Tower of the Gods. So that's a pretty nice big
entrance randomizer does get interesting with hints, because usually the path hints will at least inform you what your dungeons will be, but we are not necessarily going to know where they are. So, depending on like what ends up showing up, it can be a little bit different.
And what we can say for sure is that this is not going to be a hinted barren island. So, what do we got here? Windfall to Goma, Windfall to Godan, and Windfall to Mulgara. All right, how many of those do you think are for keys?
Yeah, so that is one. So yeah, with key lunacy, a lot of the path hints get pretty borked pretty quickly. Yeah. They're not that interesting.
Keys can be hinted path.
Yeah. So for all we know, that's all we're finding, and it's also kind of funny that it's just the straight all windfall. Oops, all windfall.
Their names are Pompey and Vera. Pompey and Vera was hinted as a nothing check.
Classic. It's actually kind of interesting. A lot of runners will wait to want to do some Lenza door cancel action until you know, they have Picto to not just orphan that check. But with Pompey and Vera hinted dead, it's like, okay, maybe we think about this. I think we also saw, I think there was Western. Yeah, Western Fairy is also foolish.
Yeah.
It's a common opener for a lot of people to take some mother and child double storage into a Western Fairy swim. So they may just elect to just grab this chest and go. I know sometimes people do some other stuff. Looks like Jar is grabbing some sort of storage.
Jar is opting to store it. I wonder.
So we'll see where he takes it. I think some people have option selected over to Eastern Fairy. Some people have option selected to go to Thorned, which is a pretty far swim. I think Jarhead is rethinking his decision.
Yeah, I think realizing that he doesn't want to swim anywhere.
Does not want to go to Western, and so we're just gonna grab it and go. So
and we know it was a Tingle statue in there.
Yeah, so Jarhead's gonna have a little bit of wondering what that item's gonna be, but I'm sure.
Luckily, it's in the menu.
Yeah, thankfully. Shout out to Lago for that one.
Yeah, and he noticed it right there. And we do have both runners heading down to Windfall.
Yeah, I feel like the only other decision that would do is sometimes people wait to do like Cliff Plat Birds Thorned area just because they're like, oh, well, if I get the grapple, then, you know, I can grapple into Bird's Peak, and so I could take storage from Cliff up to Thorned. But Bird's Peak was also foolish. So
yeah, and I imagine we might have seen one of them go there if they didn't get that delivery bag in Diamond Step.
Yeah, because that would be, now that we know that Pompey and Vera is nothing, like delivery bag is a big one that you're looking for.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
with a delivery bag, it's like now you start to wonder, like, what if we got like Moblin's letter? What if we got Maggie's letter? Like a little bit extra, but also
sort of
triple path hint on Windfall.
Yeah, and one of the big things with delivery bag is that the one check by itself that it opens up here on Windfall, the Zunari trading quest, you have to stop at Windfall, get the item, leave to go do the quest, and then come back anyway.
Yeah, so you're probably always coming back. That's true.
Yeah, when you're like, if I wait for more mail, it's like, well, you need to come back to do that check anyway that you need the delivery bag for. So I definitely don't have much of a problem with it. But we do see Pix here opting for a much earlier door cancel. Jarhead doing the Tingle checks, getting that Picto. Unfortunately, with Pompey and Vera hinted dead, getting that Picto early doesn't matter. It would normally be so nice to find that Picto at that point. But that does mean Pix is going to be luck out choosing to not do Tingle first. You know, he's not going to get really screwed by that.
True. Which we have seen before. We have seen some runners who will opt to do, like, you know, Maggie, House of Wealth, after doing some Lenza door cancel stuff, like especially if you're not one who waits for a Picto box, and having it really not pay out for them, because they just end up getting it like immediately after.
Yeah, that bow is so nice in the Tingle Jail Maze, because with Northern Fairy hinted dead and with Western Fairy hinted dead, one of the benefits of the early Super Swim to Western Fairy is getting Salvage Core there, because Salvage Core can be a little awkward to route in early as a Sphere 0 check on a lot of islands you don't want to go to with nothing.
Wanting to greet out like Popra and stuff.
Finding that bow and not having to go to Northern Fairy, you can very easily sail south from Windfall to get Cyclos and Salvage.
Yeah, they are hanging out down there. That's one of those, like, I feel like Salvage Core is always... Oh, where's the kid? Oh, did Pix not actually start the kid behind the gravestone?
Oh, I don't think he did.
Might have been he got taught and then just is like, okay, let's go.
Got taught and then jumped off, yeah.
Yeah. Because that's what, when you're on Windfall, like, this is totally what happens. When you're on Windfall, you're already, like, you're in the process of doing something, but you're already thinking, like, 3 steps ahead. You're already trying to think about, like, what you're going to do after Windfall. You're trying to, like, think about what your path hints might be, and, like, this is often, because, you know, it's always the same. You're sort of just kind of going through the motions. This is, like, the planning time. In a lot of ways. Oh. Accidentally step into to Bomb Island. Pix's, I wonder, just like there's a little bit of bracket nerves kind of happening. I know Jarhead, you know, is a very good runner. And I feel like he's definitely been getting back to old form. So it's always kind of tough, and like you're kind of like, gotta get the movement warmed up. a little bit.
Could be. And yeah, it is a good question. Do you think we'll see Mila on this Windfall trip from either runner?
That's a good question. A lot of people elect to do her early, just because that way you can kind of guarantee to like, okay, you know, first trip to House of Wealth, I can like, you know, at least save a little bit of time storing that door. That's actually super unlucky for picks.
Jarhead
That'll
also
happen
falling
sometimes
under.
with door cancel. Some people elect to do actually a mid-air sword slash to prevent that. It is like ever so slightly slower unless you go through the island, in which case obviously that's slower.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I feel like they'll probably save Mila, would be my guess. That's what I would anticipate.
For later.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially
at this point.
Especially with finding. Oh no, Jarhead.
Oh, and he didn't actually get the conversation going with.
Yeah, he was
or
when
conversation.
He was rolling,
the cut. You know what I mean.
He was rolling and went up the tree. Oh no!
The freaking bush, dude. The bush is just putting him up in the air.
Yeah, and so then he rolls through.
Yeah, this is feeling like full force bracket race right now. This is just you know. Honestly, one of the nice things about starting at Windfall is like it kind of gives you a little bit of time to sort of get your feet back under you and like, all right, we're warming our hands up, we're warming the movement up, we're getting ready to go. I feel like it could definitely be, some serious bracket nerves. Pick saying, I want to take this for the road. Nice. Forbidden Wood small key and an extra benefit of, all right, a little bit of money.
Yeah, assuming that that's what he was going for, was hoping to find some cash, but...
Yeah, sure, you know, maybe you get the random quiver or something. But yeah. I've definitely been in that camp before where you're like, alright, look. Spent all this time doing this trick. I'm freaking making it worth it, alright?
Yeah, and luckily he did find 100
for my
rupees
trouble.
there. That's
true.
That 100 rupees is basically gonna be all he will need this seed.
Yeah.
It's hard to need more than 100 rupee with these settings specifically.
Oh, and hook shot. Okay. So, a little early hide and seek action. It's definitely kind of nice.
Which that hook shot also is then going to put that delivery bag that they got into Logic.
True. Wait, yeah, that's actually very true. So, already immediately we're back in Logic, baby.
Yeah. We were out for all of 10 minutes. Welcome back.
Yeah, and so far no keys, actually. I don't think there's been a single key besides the Forbidden Woods small key, but I'm not really going to count that.
There was the Tower of the Gods big key in Diamond Step.
Oh yeah. I mean on Windfall, I was worried it'd be like just be like, right. Lamau, here's your small key.
Actually, you know,
don't say you never got something for you, you know.
Thinking of our hints, we did get a bow, which can just be our path to Godan.
Yeah, it was definitely path to Godan.
And we did get Hookshot, which is 100% path to Mulgera. Well, I say probably path to Godan just because it's like the logic with bow paths can be a little weird based on where they're placed.
Oh yeah, if like there's another one that's also available without that one, then it's like technically this wasn't the bow that is path.
Yeah,
it does get a little bit strange. That's fair.
Yeah, if you have two bows that are available to you with like without locking each other in any sense, they can't be path because you could get them. You could technically get them in either order. But I mean, I say the bow is a safe bet for now. It's not a guarantee, but I'd probably write it off at that point as it's probably just the bow. And yeah, we are seeing Mila and a what was I saying? A setup for getting into House of Wealth here from Jarhead.
And I'm a little bit worried. Hopefully this means he should be good. It actually did take Jar just like a little bit. It was kind of almost having a bit of trouble getting that storage on the railing there, but I think we should be fine.
He should be fine unless he takes too long getting this money, and a green rupee is not what he wants to see there. Definitely not as much money as he would have.
Hopefully we don't catch her in the cross. Okay, yeah, we're fine.
And it looks like Pix is opting not to do Mila on this trip. We'll see if that's going to do a lot of harm for him.
I feel like Pix is like intentionally trying to show off the sail there.
Yeah, it's a good sail.
I wonder if that's just somewhat in response to perhaps how he feels like that door cancel route went, which, you know, it's one of those things where it's like you almost wish in instances like this you could kind of like both runners could sort of see the other person, because the door cancel hide and seek did not really go super smoothly for either one, so they're both probably feeling pretty bad about it.
Yeah, it's very easy to get
but
in
it's
your own
actually
head
like
and-
it actually ended up being a pretty even exchange between the two. You know, neither
Yeah.
one of them is really ahead or behind because of that, but
And
they
I
don't know that
missed
and they
what
won't.
was on Mila? What did she have there?
I'll be honest, I didn't see it either.
Well, shit. We'll find out eventually, I'm sure. Money! Oh, that's great for Jarhead.
Cash money. And we'll see Cyclos, which I assume we'll also probably see Jarhead pop Cyclos, and it's just another classic
nice
Tingle
Tingle
statue
statue.
moment. Where all the Tingle statues are like sphere 0 or 1, alright.
And that
that is
is-
spiky on transparent.
Jarhead, also Jarhead doing a sick jump over Beetle. And opting not to go for Cyclos. Instead, it looks like he's sailing to Pawprint right here.
Meanwhile, Pix is doing exactly what you were anticipating, which is picking up Cyclos and actually hitting up the salvage core, which getting Hammer, that's... I mean, alright, you know, I was saying earlier about wanting to do, like, perhaps, like, the Crescent into Thorned or whatever. Now he doesn't have to worry about even taking storage off the top of Cliff Plat. I said Crescent, I meant Cliff Plat.
Oh, that's
Oh wait, and that's
a
just
very
bombs.
nice find for Jarhead, yeah.
It's just bombs. I'll be honest, so once you have bombs, Beetle will sell you bomb refills, but it's over on the right side of his store and not the left side of his store, so I got confused for a second. I'm like, wait a minute.
And it looks like we do have Pix here also getting that, but he's getting this at Forest Haven, so I imagine he is heading over to Crescent.
Yeah, that would be my guess.
Meanwhile, Jarhead will get that Skull Hammer there, and he has those bombs right before going into Pawprint.
Which ends
So-
up, that works out pretty good. It's a little bit lucky for Jar, but we take those.
Yeah.
You
The only thing-
can still kind of get like a lot of like information and other stuff for Pawprint, and you know you tend to plan to double dip this island just because it gets a little bit awkward with the grapple requirement and like the bomb/power bracelet requirement. So that might have just been what he was thinking about.
A little surprised not to see Jarhead check bomb mail just in case it's grapple.
It's a good.
We
point.
know it's not because Pix just checked it and got his fourth Tingle statue, but in case it was grapple, that would have been a nice thing to look first.
Jar almost rolled away. Probably was like, oh, it's not spiky. I'm like, wait a minute, that's a key
Yeah.
just.
And it was the Tower of the Gods small key. They only need one this seed.
That's true, yeah. So we didn't even actually touch on that. But so the 3 dungeons, and we don't know where they are because the entrances are randomized, but we know what they are because of our path hints. DRC, Tower of the Gods, and Wind Temple, all 3 of the dungeons that actually have forced small key requirements. So that is actually kind of interesting. And I know Pix is a part of the Ang gang, Angular believers, so I'm actually not too surprised to see him here early.
Yeah, I also know
with the
he just
benefit of
loves
having
it
the
when
hook
people
shot.
check it.
To be
I
honest,
couldn't tell what that
I couldn't
was.
tell if
Yeah.
that was couldn't tell if that was spiky or not, but he knows, so that's what's important.
Jarhead did get that ghost ship chart inside Pawprint, so it looks like he'll be sailing up to Crescent to get it. A little unlucky since Crescent was hinted as foolish, but at the same time, you know, when are you going to get ghost ship this seed?
Yeah, because they've also already done Diamond Step, so it's
Yeah, they
like
spawned
maybe
on
would
Diamond Step,
intentionally
Crescent
try
was
to get
foolish.
greedy.
They could get it at Bomb, but at this point, like right now, is playing Song of Passing that many times better than just sailing to a dead island? I don't think so.
Yeah, it's
So-
hard to say, yeah. And you don't want to necessarily push it off for too long. Although,
Yeah.
which one? Was it the behind the boulder? I guess that's in logic, isn't it? Never mind.
Yeah,
It looks like it's probably is a spiky.
probably
It
is a
should be
spiky. And
pretty
I will
easy
say,
pickings with the bow.
we did see Pix finding a Wind Temple small key down at Angular, so depending on the shield locations, that might actually be a really, really nice find.
Yeah, if Jarhead really pushes that off late.
Yeah. Well, it's like if let's say there's a shield in Wind Temple, that's very easy for that to happen.
True.
If there
true.
is, you might not be tempted to go to Angular very early. So
Watch there just be like another super free Wind Temple small key somewhere.
yeah,
Picto in Ghost Ship. Okay.
Deluxe Picto.
That's interesting. We might actually need that one. Pompey and Vera, not required, which is funny because I think these two file name coordinated Pompey and Vera between the two of them, and then we're not going to talk to them at all this seed.
I will say, I am happy that with their runner's agreement settings, they're actually getting use out of them this seed. I have seen, there was one where they did expensive purchases on, and then they didn't have Forsaken Fortress, and Rockspire was hinted foolish. So I was like, all right, well, glad that was a runner's agreement.
That's pretty funny. Hey, you know what happens. All right. Will we see?
Zelda. Nope.
I was gonna say, well, will we see? Jarhead is setting up to do some fly around. If we need this chest, we might actually get to see. Oh, was it hinted? Oh no, he just didn't peek it.
I don't think so.
He's
yeah,
I think Jarhead is so excited to do his new strat. I can't tell. I hope that's spiky. Looks like he's voiding, so I don't think it is.
Yeah. Oh, maybe he just didn't get a good look at it.
It is a key chest. Ooh, okay, all right. So this is, well, sort of hot off the presses. This is a recent discovery here by Jarhead themselves. Look and see how they go about doing it.
Meanwhile, Pix got a shield up on top of Crescent. Looks like he's setting up for a super swim up to Thorned. I will also say welcome on in, Raiders from ZeldaSpeedRuns. We have a losers bracket round 1, game 1 match here between Jarhead and Pix. And if you don't like flashing images, don't look at Pix's screen because he is setting up a super swim.
I will say one thing about swimming off of cliff that's like a little bit annoying. That hopefully should be good. I think Pix is actually already looking to get some distance from the island. Yeah, there's the edges of the island back there are sloped and can definitely scoop you up out of the water if you're not careful. I think Cliff also does have problems with Georgs, but I don't think they usually matter out by the island. I think they're more in a different part of the quadrant. So we'll see.
We got a bit of an awkward angle here.
Yeah, we'll need to go a little bit more to the right.
Oh! Oh,
and
no.
we hit up on the stick, so we lost our speed.
Oh, no, that's
gonna be
really tragic.
unfortunate.
He's right there, too.
Yeah, I know, but it's just like, oh, gosh dang it.
But the flashing is
Link.
over, so if you looked away, you can look back now. And a heart container on Wind Shrine. Always a generous find to get an extra heart in Wind Waker these days.
That's true. Yeah, wait, the full thing, not just like a piece. Okay,
Yeah.
and so I think it looks like Jar is gonna go ahead and check what's in this dungeon entrance because we don't actually know. Well, again, one of the things that's awkward is again all the dungeons need keys, and when you have DRC in the mix with random dungeon entrances, if you run into Dragon Roost Cavern without having yet found a key for that dungeon, you can do basically nothing. You can do the very first check, and then you have to leave. So, it could be a little bit iffy for Jar, but the information could be important. So,
And
it's like if this ends up being like Tower of the Gods or something, this could be good.
Yeah, and he can do a lot of Tower of the Gods in Logic
Yeah,
right now.
exactly. So
Well-
we could pick up some mad items.
Yeah, and especially since he got that key, a lot of Tower of the Gods will be in Logic for him.
Oh, interesting. If you pull the bomb early enough, that actually might be worth it. That's so clever. I actually like that. So normal bombs don't blow up as fast in those as the bomb flowers do, especially if you chuck them in those pots. But if you cook the bomb ahead of time,
that was the worst dungeon for.
Yeah, Wind Temple. No command melody. No command melody. No leaf. No nothing. We're leaving.
Yeah, because Jar had also
Jar. I don't remember when he actually saved last, but I hope it was after he got that key.
He's back down to 3 heart. He saved after the fly across and then ran to Wind Shrine. So he lost that free heart container.
That we were
is what he's lost.
Which, to be fair, I don't think he'll need that. I think he'll probably be fine. Wind Waker is kind of a baby game when it comes to enemy damage for the most part. So
for the most part, but then there are a few times where suddenly you're like, "Oh, I have no health."
Yeah. I found out semi recently. Jahala actually does mad damage if you let him do his attacks.
Yeah, that will be so easy to interrupt.
Yeah.
But yeah, he will destroy you.
And I didn't see what we got on Thorned, I'll be honest. Maybe the shield?
Did
We have a shield
No,
from
the shield was
somewhere
at
for Pix.
the shield was Cliff Plat upper.
Was that Cliff? Okay. Oh, we got magic. That's actually a big
that
deal.
is a huge find.
That's kind of a big deal. Don't have anything to use it with yet, but
no, but just having it is really, really good.
it's half the puzzle. Also, looks like the runners are about to do a little bit of hand holding in Eastern together.
What if we held hands in the fairy fountain?
Well, we're about to find out what happens when you do that.
Is it romantic or frightening, do you think?
Maybe they're holding hands because they're like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, is it like a
giant
date or
four-armed lady? I don't know what to make of this.
Is it like a date or is it like I'm terrified?
And hold me, I'm scared.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe a little bit of both.
Oh, okay.
I'm freaked out and aroused at the same time. I don't know what to make of that.
Oof. And they had the bait bag. Unfortunately, no power bracelets. Jarhead did grab a fairy there, so we might see some soup in the near future, but power bracelets would just really push us into outset.
Yeah, I'm actually wondering what the big thing that they might want to wait for outset. I guess just perhaps Leaf and Magic do outset fairy right away kind of situation. I think Earth Temple is one of their random entrances, so yeah, perhaps even just power bracelets just so that they could check out what's over there when they go down there.
I also think that they're both kind of in a position so far where they have enough really good clearable stuff other than outset to do that, like, you know, while you normally might dip outset multiple times, if you don't have to go there that early, you might as well keep looking for items.
Yeah, and you run into that situation too where it's like we've already done Diamond Step because we started there, so that is often a pull to do outset that we don't have this seed. So a little bit of covering each other's turf. So
yeah, their routes diverged, but they're now kind of interweaving back where the divergence was. So
yeah, something I hope. Was thinking about this earlier when we got to see that Wind Temple was in DRC. So we have again Tower of the Gods and Dragon Roost Cavern as the other actual dungeons, not just the entrances. I really, really want to see Tower of the Gods down there on Earth Temple and not have it be vanilla, because it's always very funny to me to find pearls inside of Tower of the Gods. It's very satisfying.
I just noticed Pix has Hero's Charm.
Wait, for real?
I think he stored that in Cliff Plat.
Oh, maybe.
I'm 90% sure I saw a Hero's Charm on that menu. I don't know if he even knows.
Huh. Yeah, that probably would have been stored inside of because I don't think Pix hasn't done Boulder, right?
Yeah,
they're going to DRI right now. So
you say Pix didn't put it on. I don't know if Pix realizes
Pix might not know. Yeah.
Yeah.
to be fair, I don't know if I would necessarily notice either. I'll put it on if I get it.
See it, yeah.
I'll have to keep an eye on.
And we do have a new island here from Jarhead, though.
Little Bombus.
Yeah, a nice trip.
I think Jar did we're doing a little double diagonal situation. Cliff, Bomb, over to Thorned. Which I like that.
Sail from Cliff? He might have warped back to Forest Haven.
Oh, did he?
I'm not 100% sure.
I hope
I was noticing the Hero's Charm at the time. That Magtail is trolling Jarhead. There we go.
It's like half in the button.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go. Yeah, pride give in the chat. I just love
Solid
that emote.
Nothing there in Bomb Island.
Unlucky. But hey, maybe the Reynolds would be happy. See, that's the thing, right? Everybody be hating on Bomb Island. You don't even have to do it half the time anymore.
It's true.
So come on, quit your bitching.
I just think people who hate Bomb Island don't aim their throws. That's my hot take.
It's a skill issue, obviously. Okay, and Jar is now gonna go to Thorned, yeah.
Yeah.
I like it. I like it. Yeah, actually, that is one of the things, like, people a lot of times, I mean, to be fair, I'm not, like, a huge fan of Thorned Island, of Thorned Ferry, but I think people often oversell how separated it is from other things. The sail from Bomb Island is actually, like, not that, like, you know, it's a pretty normal sail distance island to island. It's not like it's a crazy thing.
I think Thorned Ferry only gets bad when you get a late skull hammer and never had a way to get there with storage earlier, you know.
Yeah. Heck,
You know,
honestly,
if you
it
have,
feels like in
like-
so many seeds that it's just hinted dead anyways.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Well, there's like
Pix is doing the
new
going
strat,
for the
too.
Jarhead strat.
I wonder how practiced Pix is on it, because Jarhead is the one who discovered it recently, so I know he would have some experience in it, but I wonder how much Pix has worked through this himself. Looks like he's getting some height.
Yeah, they've got. That seemed like it was a somewhat of a practice little setup. Because it's different than how I think I first saw it demoed, but clearly works.
That worked really well for him.
Yeah, that is not, if you've seen it but not tried it, that is not a strat I would recommend going for. Just because it's a little weird, a little finicky.
And with what we were talking about, we are now seeing Jarhead heading down to Outset. I wonder if we'll see something similar from Pix here. Oh no, Pix is probably going to check the dungeon
wouldn't too
entrance.
surprise me. Oh, it is actually going to check the dungeon entrance. Okay. And now that I guess I was looking this time, it looks like that may have been a DRC small key on fly around. So
It was.
yeah. Again, that being, if DRC is in the picture of an entrance randomizer dungeon thing, like, that is kind of a big go-ahead item of, like, you know, maybe now I'll start gathering information about entrances, because yeah, it's nothing feels worse than you go in, you go DRC, and you're like, all right, well, I guess I'm leaving.
And while that's only his fourth, Jarhead did just find our last Tingle statue here.
Telling you, the classic. Tingle statues, it feels like they're almost always, at this point, just sphere 0 and 1.
You need 2 DRC keys to full clear, but you can do most of DRC with only 1 key.
Yeah.
And
one thing
that
does get interesting about DRC in key lunacy, however, is DRC is usually not super great for items because half the items in the dungeon are keys. But when the keys aren't necessarily there, that dungeon gets a lot better.
It opens up a lot more. Yeah, there's the Hero's Charm. I was right. I did see it.
You're right. So I think Jarhead probably does have it then, too.
Yeah, because I assume it must have been at Cliffplat. Because I think that was his only storage at that point, at least of a wooden chest.
Yeah, and they had the store to get the shield that was up on top.
Oh, and he has noticed it now.
Hey, nice. Big. I actually don't know what Baby Ganon's Hero Charm is. Oh, it's like a little, like,
yeah, it's
crown.
like that,
sounds like kind of like the Tears of the Kingdom thing.
Sort of. And a new island here from Pix, we're going to be seeing Southern Ferry. At least I don't believe Jarhead went to Southern Ferry.
That is a fair... Tuba Man does make a fair point. I don't know why I didn't just say Tuba. Yeah.
The entire back half is 4 small key locks.
Yeah, the latter half of the dungeon ends up being very high sphere, because you need 4 keys to get there.
Luckily, though, with the single small key that they have, it is trivial to get to all of those 4 small key locked checks.
Yeah, they don't tend to maybe be as good.
Yeah.
Because they tend to be higher sphere.
Or it'll be something ridiculous like, 3 DRC keys in Earth Temple, and then you'll find some, like, bows and a leaf in Dragon Roost, and it's like, oh my god.
True. And then that's where you go, thank god I know how to shoot down that platform.
Yeah.
Because, screw that. Hey, our first pearl. This was on some ferry. I don't know where we are.
This was Southern Ferry.
Ah, Southern Ferry, okay.
Meanwhile, Jarhead did also pick up Maggie's letter from Grandma Mail. I don't know why Grandma had that, but she did.
Grandma said return to sender. This isn't for me.
Oh, true. Good point.
Burrito's messed up, man. Come on.
Dang.
Or maybe one of the Ritos was like, Forsaken Fortress, that address can't be right. Or it just goes, nah, it's not my problem.
Has
Whoops,
anyone
I
that's
accidentally
Angular...
sent you to the wrong place because I didn't want to
No.
go there.
Yes, Pix has gone to Angular, and he got a Wind Temple small key.
Yeah, which
Up on the Angular Peak.
could kind of matter.
Did not see what key Jarhead just got from
It was another
Cave.
DRC. I actually, by some miracle, saw it.
Well, that means that DRC is easily full clearable now as long as they can get into it.
Yeah, well, grapple not withholding.
Right. I am stupid.
Hey, we've been talking about going in there for a while, so I would have been right there with you.
Also, you know, at a certain point, you just assume you have grapple.
It's true. It does kind of feel that way. Oh, speaking of assumptions, Pix just getting used to always roll clipping into mesas and remembering, oh, it's nighttime. I can just walk in.
That big autopilot. They still need grapple.
Yeah,
No,
much.
they only need grapple to full clear DRC at this point. And like even for logic, there's almost certainly not a DRC small key in DRC basement. They're elsewhere.
I wonder if Jarhead, I don't know if anyone saw, I wonder if Jarhead originally planned to do the jump slash and with the nut, or if it was just like, this is taking so long to get in the hole, I guess I'm just going over the top. And then it slowly like squished its way in there.
I don't hate doing both, honestly. Like he's doing what I would do here, which is where you
sort of open it up behind you.
Open up behind you. So if you fail this third hardest part of the skip, you at least don't have to repeat the skips. That C-Hat just being an ass.
So far away, and you still L-target.
Yeah,
everybody loves L-targeting in this game. And by that, I mean...
Jarhead gets the hardest part of the skip on his first try, so... Oh no! Never mind,
you were actually lying. The hardest part is actually,
and that one he got on his second try. For golf, does that count as a hole in two, or...?
I don't know. I feel like that was a water hazard situation.
And nothing in golf, so he is soft resetting back to...
probably wants to go check out what that is up on top of a headstone. Hopefully we bought bait. I'm actually not sure that we did or not.
He did.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say, wait, his rupee count is lower, so yeah. Must have.
It's a hole 3, 4, 5. Yeah, but swinging it is done with the leaf. So it's like if you picked up your golf ball and dropped it in the hole, how many strokes is that?
I believe that's called cheating.
It's only cheating if someone's watching.
Fair. And top of headstone is...
That's a boomerang.
Oh no, it's a boomerang. Yeah. I don't know. I saw something curved. Wait, yeah, it would be fire and ice, so it wouldn't look like that. Never mind. You know, I've always wondered if you were in a sector that had like an exposed item like that, and it was one of the bows, and that you somehow got another bow while outside in that sector, would the item change or would it stay the same?
How many situations can that happen in?
I'm honestly not sure, because
the only one I don't think
there are a lot of
exposed
items.
Beetle. The only one I can think of is expensive beetle.
Oh, if you like bought one bow, that's a good point. Actually, I never thought about that. If there are multiple bows on expensive beetle, what happens? Do they both just look like normal bows? Or is it hard? Or did Lago not want to have to account for that, so it's hard coded to never have to?
I doubt that, but I'd have to look at the code to prove it, and I'm not the smart enough person to parse that.
Here. That's how I feel about it. Like for myself.
Progressive ones.
I realized I needed to make sure I emphasize the fact that that's not how I feel also about you.
Progressive ones do not always look like the base items in the shop because you can. Yeah, because the sword item you get is always like the hero's sword visual.
That's true. Swords are different, yeah.
But where like you can buy like fire and ice in Beetle if you already have the base bow.
Because I don't. There is no hold sword over your head for the master sword in the game. That never happens. You only do it when you get the first sword at the very beginning.
Mm-hmm.
DRC small key. See, I wasn't lying to you.
I was. Thank God, I was doubting.
Oh, I know.
We are gonna see now that Jarhead got his last Tingle statue from Cyclos. What does Ankle have to give to us?
Probably nothing. All right.
Well,
I lied.
mean, yes and no.
You don't
it's a
hate to
nice-
see it. You don't need it.
It's a nice convenience, but you could also describe it as nothing and not be
Yeah,
wrong.
I feel like I've been seeing a lot of double magic seeds lately. I don't know why. In
Yeah,
theory,
that's
that should just be
weird.
completely random.
It
Like
is.
one of the magics is placed, and then the other one just shows up if it wants to.
That is a good point. We are running low on stuff. The locations we still have are Islet of Steel, the chest on Needle Rock, which was hinted as a key, I think. Then the waterfall at Oasis, and then the 3 checks on Windfall,
Yeah,
which is the Zunari, the Cafe Bar, and Manenko, because we got that deluxe Picto, which
that's true.
Pix actually does not have his deluxe Picto, because he's not gotten Ghost Ship yet.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot where that was.
Oh, it was the DRC Big Key. Yeah, that is a total write-off. I don't think you'd get that.
That's right. Yeah, we probably don't need that. And that is one of the things. So Key Lunacy, kind of an interesting setting, but considering we allow basically every glitch or skip in this randomizer, and because these runners are experienced, the keys usually don't matter that much.
Yeah.
Which is why it is interesting that we got the dungeons that we got. But,
Yeah, it is nice that we got dungeons that do force small keys. You can't. There's no way to skip small key requirements. At least one in all 3 of our dungeons. And the big keys, every big key in this game is skippable. Luckily, Tatji and Wind Temple are 2 of the more annoying big key skips to do, but we did find the Tatji big key already.
That's true.
So
Yeah. I'll be honest, I'm always happy. Even if I'm go moding the dungeon, you're like, oh nice. It showed up in one of the 2 chests forced on me.
Oh
It's
yeah,
great.
if I'm go moding Tatji, I'm always just praying I get the big key before I find a small key, or it's just on stone tablet.
It's like I'll do it if I have to, but like God, I don't want to.
Yeah, I'd much rather.
Alright, Islet, what you got for us, Islet? A bottle. Great.
Well, that is also similar to double magic, although it's a little less useful than double magic.
Yeah, there's
It's
a good
not the
chance
worst
it doesn't get
convenience.
used at all.
Yeah, it's not the worst convenience item to find, but it's also not good. It is, for all intents and purposes, garbage.
This looks good for Pix. Nice, okay.
Yeah, and Pix also getting his first try skip on this island. Both runners making it look easy, and it takes quite a bit of practice, I'd say, to get good at that. It's not the easiest skip in the game.
Yeah, there's some finesse.
Yeah. And we do see Jarhead here heading back to Windfall, chasing I really don't disagree with this versus the waterfall at Oasis.
With no hope of actually doing that.
Yeah,
Well,
literally
it'd
impossible.
have to be exactly grapple. And
Yeah.
you'd have to hope that it was exactly grapple as you use it to break into the cabana.
Or you could save before you open it and just check. Oh, but
That's
that
true.
is fire and ice on Manenko, which is also
Okay.
really convenient because it opens up more on this island.
And that opens up a couple things. We've got some more checks to do, so hopefully Pix does not push off this ghost ship for too long.
Also,
That is,
only
that
one
is
of
fire
3
and ice
Windfall
locked
paths.
behind.
Yeah, I wonder, that might mean that bow can't be the path then, though. Because there were 2 separate bows available on Windfall. And I don't think they were locking each other.
Yeah, I don't remember where ghost ship chart was exactly.
Yeah. And the weird thing about path hints, because even though there are 2 bows on Windfall, if they don't lock each other, they can't be the path hint, because the hint is talking about a specific item. Right? So even though you might need either one of those bows.
Oh,
yeah,
I think they can't. I think they can be. It can still be path if the other bow is bow locked and the item is fire and ice locked. I think specifically because you would need both of the bows.
That's true. That's true.
It's like weird like that.
Well, but I mean, if something is fire or ice locked, you're always gonna need the bows.
This is true.
Yeah, it could be just a pearl on ice ring or something. That's also a good point. But
Yeah.
we did find command melody there on creep, which is that at that point that also just satisfies the hint,
Yeah, that's either
which does need
wind
both of those
or-
bows.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
who's to say, really?
And I would guess that's more likely to be the Tot G path hit at that point, since we did find Hookshot on this island. So it's like, okay, we have Hookshot to Wind Temple, Command Melody to Golden.
Also, Pix is turning it to
Gee.
nighttime here on Bomb Island, so I feel like we're hopefully going to see Ghost Ship here. Once we pop in the island, of course. And he's going to use that to also get Grandma.
Oh, that's really frustrating for Jarhead.
No, wait, was that Moblins?
Yeah, so Jarhead, it was day, he got Manenko. He turned at night to do Creeb, and then he went in to start the Cafe Postman quest, and then turned it back to day to get Zunari and got Moblin's letter. So it's just a little unfortunate there.
Lots of running around. And
but that was, speaking of the annoying big keys, that was the Wind Temple big key on the Postman.
So we'll have to do that big key skip.
So yeah, we've got on Jarhead's side both of the other big keys that are really obnoxious to skip.
And probably the only ones we're going to see, unless one of the other ones just randomly shows up as a garbage checks for something.
I don't think Jarhead has done Transparent Chest yet, which means he's playing Command Melody like 3 or 4 times on this island.
Oh, interesting. I just realized on Pix's side. So Bomb Island was actually a key chest. Did Jar? I don't think Jar did this.
Oh, that's a good point.
I think Jar probably saw maybe it wasn't spiky, or just doesn't want to, just hopes that you won't have to get this key specifically.
Well, luckily for Jar, also, he doesn't. He has all the keys he would need this seed at this point.
Does he? Did he get a Wind Temple one? Small key?
Oh, that's true. Angular.
I mean, it's down on Angular, so it's not like the craziest.
Yeah, that's if this is an Angular small key, sorry, a Wind Temple small key, that's pretty bad for Angular, but...
Yo, Angular small key?
Yeah.
Oh,
small key to get Angular.
Oh,
that's...
Well, you could actually probably grab that.
Yeah.
Dang, that bounced up pretty far.
Oh, wow, that chain for Leaf. Wow, that was on Note to Mom. That was on Note to Mom, which Note to Mom was on Maggie Delivery Reward with Moblin's letter on Zunari.
Okay, it was just a DRC small key, so...
Yeah.
That's actually... That's going to be very nice for Jar. It's going to be a little bit of time save, because, yeah, you won't want that.
And there was a wallet there on Transparent Chest for Jarhead.
More mail.
So we'll have to see what was on... This was all behind Ghost Ship? No. No. Ghost Ship had the other Picto, which led to our Fire Ice, but the wallet and the Command Melody were what were Fire Ice locked. Everything else there was not behind Ghost Ship.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so Pix's was checking to see if Ghost Ship was hanging out on Bomb. It's not.
I think it's on
Diamond Step for him. Yeah, it's on Diamond Step right now. So you needed to be one night further.
And that wallet led to power bracelets.
Well, top of Cabana is something, though. I'll have to see what this is. If this is something like Grapple, that could be really annoying for Jar.
That's true.
I mean, I'm sure eventually he'll surmise that he needs to come out here. But...
Yeah, and Pix here opting to save.
He's doing what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I mean, because if this is just something like a bottle or whatever, then you're like, well, I don't need that. Maybe I'll save it to break in later.
Yeah. Or, I mean, there's a lot of things it could be you might be willing to break in later, but we'll see what he finds here. Ooh, a shard.
Probably going to keep that. It's always tempting. You're like, oh, but if I need that to break in later, I'm like, oh, I can always come back. You don't want to come back for that, though. Like, if you don't end up coming to Cabana, yeah.
That's because you're like, well, it doesn't unlock anything for me now, so I could bring it back. But yeah, I don't.
Yeah.
I ultimately think he's doing the right thing here.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I agree with just keeping it. Yeah. I would
as tempting as it can be to say it doesn't do anything for me right now, but.
Okay, and Pix is gonna go pick up Ghost Ship on Diamond Stuff. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I was worried that like he was gonna just again wait until like later or something, but I think he's running out of things without the Fire and Ice at the moment. So getting down to that like last location type situation. Not quite, but close.
Has he not saved Grandma either?
I'm not sure. I feel like he probably did.
Because he doesn't have Maggie's letter, or sorry, not gotten Grandma mail is the better way to phrase that. Because he doesn't have Maggie's letter tracked on his own personal tracker, and yeah, and we don't have Maggie's letter.
He might not have gotten it. He might be hoping for power bracelets if we're going back.
We do have Moblin's letter.
Yo, classic. All right, so that is a bow locked behind the two bows.
Yeah.
Just saying. Just, you know.
Just with the bow.
Also classically being on Ice Ring. They love to see it.
No, Grandma led to Maggie's letter, but he doesn't even have Maggie's letter marked on his own tracker, so I'm not sure if he's picked that up yet. And it looks like there was nothing there inside Ice Ring, just that bow-locked bow. Really early lights, all things considered.
And they actually have the magic to use it, too.
Yeah, they have magic. They have a lot of the magic
so often
to
in
use
Season
it.
6, if it's early lights, you're like, oh, great, thanks.
It's early lights. There's a double magic. You know, no real dungeon dips from either runner, and they have lights. I say no real because they checked DRC entrance, but it was just Wind Temple. Which
I mean, honestly, at this point, I think Jar probably checks Angular, then goes Earth Temple. And, like, sees whatever's there. I think it's dungeon time, and he knows that one's not Wind Temple, which would be the one that you wouldn't want because they still don't have Iron Boots.
They do still not have Iron Boots. The weird thing about Entrance Rando, though, their Iron Boots might be in Wind Temple.
That's true.
That is
that is actually a good point. Yeah.
You can check the Forbidden Woods entrances as well. I don't remember. Is Forbidden Woods? I thought it was Tot G for some reason.
I think it is Tower. I think it's DRC. Oh, I suppose they still don't have grapple. Yeah, maybe it would be a bit early for. Still slightly early for a dungeon.
Well, but
dip.
they can full clear Tower of the Gods if they find it. And so if Tower of the Gods is at Earth Temple, that's just.
Pix picked up the deluxe, which is locking his fire and ice. But because he was at Diamond Step, we just came up here to Needle Rock.
No.
I'm
a little confused.
You could do a little bit quickly.
He came up here to Needle Rock.
I guess just because you're close.
We know that the outer chest was the DRC big key.
Which is probably why he paused there for a second.
Yeah, so it's kind of the thing of like, there's no reason to get that even if you had fire
that might have been one of those situations where you're like, oh, I think that was hinted an item, right? I should probably go over there, and you're like, wait a minute.
Oh, and that was another key chest at Greatfish, but I doubt we will see Jarhead.
Yeah, it looks like I think Jar knows he's got the keys that he needs at this point.
Yeah, but we are seeing Jar now head down to Needle Rock, likely to pick up that cave.
Ooh, come on, boat, get in there, get into Islet.
Ooh, I find this one a lot harder when you're touching the boat, but he got it that second time, so.
All right, Needle Rock Cave, what you got?
So yeah, it would be really awkward at this point if like Grapple's in DRC and Iron Boots are in Wind Temple, both of which are completely possible.
I just hope we still see some pearls in Tower of the Gods. I want that to be...
Oh, yeah.
I want Tower of the Gods to be Earth Temple entrance, and I want to see some pearls. Because there's just something humorous to me. I don't know. It just feels satisfying.
And yeah, we know that our dungeons are not going to be at Forbidden Woods. We know whatever is in Forbidden Woods doesn't matter. Because on our map, we know our dungeon entrances are marked as Dragon Roost, Cavern, Tower of the Gods, and Earth Temple.
Yeah, the race mode markers still, like, they still exist and they'll still show you, but they just won't tell you, like, what's where. Which then it's always funny, because then, like, you know, one of them's actually, you know, where the dungeons, like, normally is. Like, okay, well, DRC entrance is in play, and then you go in and like, wait a minute.
I wonder, he's warping to Dragon Roost Island, but, okay, yeah, he's opting to go to Fire Mountain instead.
And then be disappointed. Just saying, should have saved a DRI so you could reset out of this island.
But still, then like, what are you gonna do at DRI? I mean, personally, I do want to see Iron Boots inside Wind Temple, or something even grosser like Cabana Deed Grapple inside Wind Temple with Boots in Cabana, but I'm also a sadist.
Well,
So,
and to be fair, especially since they've already committed to walking all the way up to just see what dungeon is in Dragon Roost Cavern.
yeah.
If you go up there and it's, with hoping, I guess, that Iron Boots end up being in Wind Temple and not find them, therefore not able to finish that dungeon and having to walk up there a third time later, like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, and they got super unlucky that that dungeon was the one that they couldn't go open the cross-dungeon warp pot to.
It's true, yeah, it's true.
Because if it was Tower of the Gods, or preferably just Dragon Roost Cavern, it's pretty easy to just go check that, check a few checks in the dungeon and then go open the warp pot and warp back from the other dungeon later.
Yeah. Okay, we got the fire and ice for picks.
Yeah.
Probably a little bit annoyed finding those after having just been at Needle.
Yeah, I definitely
but hey, this is actually going to work out. Gonna get Moblin's letter before going up to talk to Maggie. Okay, please tell me this is bait, right? That's a damn shame.
It's not bait, but it's also not the Iron Boots.
Every time I come, I swear, Fire Mountain is always dead, except for when I come, and then it's always required. Which, to be fair, I would much rather have it be that way than the opposite. Feels like it's mocking me a little bit, but... Oh, and Pix is getting Mila now. Actually gets to do fire and ice checks during Mila. This ends up being kind of a rarity in Season 6, even though this used to be sort of... I mean, back in the day, this was kind of like the norm for a good while.
I thought more of Wind Temple was in Logic without Iron Boots, just because it's so easy to get past the springs without using them, but I guess only Chest Between Two Dirt Patches is in Logic without Iron Boots. But still...
Oh, interesting. It doesn't consider you flying across that room? Huh.
No, well, it considers you doing it, but using the Iron Boots to spring up.
Oh yeah, because maybe, I think, now that I think about it, I think you might need leaf thumps to make that. So yeah, of course, that's not considered logically. Alright, fine.
But it still is the case where it is possible for Iron Boots to be
it could be that first check, and that would be very funny.
We have seen Leaf and Magic in that first check of Wind Temple in Season 6.
Yeah, which is like the only place it can be, so... Be like that, but with a little extra spice. Okay, Pick's gonna peek the transparent chest, see that it's spiky.
And while I do think both of these runners could easily get past that first room of Wind Temple and get to more checks without Iron Boots, that is now the only check that can be Iron Boots.
Dang, that's actually kind of disappointing. I kind of forget about that.
It is disappointing, and I still want to see it.
Yo, a sword. Oh yeah, Jar also did notice that we had Hero's Charm.
Oh, did he?
Finally noticed and actually went ahead and put it on, so that's respect points for Jarhead. Didn't notice it as fast as Pix though, so slightly less respect points. Well, we did get it in the end, and now Lucas has has gained aluminum power.
Well, yeah, logically you need Iron Boots for every check past Between Two Dirt Patches in Wind Temple. The hard required is a little different.
And we're going to see Outset Fairy. I know Pix is a believer of Outset Fairy, and we'll probably hit it up shortly after getting this leaf. Well, maybe not shortly, but we'll definitely not be trying to gamble it, I'm sure.
The way you feel about Fire Mountain is how I feel about Outset Fairy, so I'm really hoping it's trash.
I mean, if Outset Fairy is trash, I'm also fine with it.
That's fair.
Outset Fairy, I've given her chances to come through for me, and she has repeatedly disappointed me. So I'm not a believer.
I find Outset Fairy to very much be a gamble and lose check, where if you get it early, it's nothing. If you save it for late, it's exactly what you need.
It's always gonna have what you need. It's Schrodinger's check. It's not actually determined when you randomize the seed.
Xeno, that's not necessarily true on your tracker that you're tracking, because Pix has power bracelets but has not checked the dungeon that's in Earth Temple. So there's a bunch of dungeon checks for whatever is in Earth Temple available to the runners right now that isn't being shown on the tracker. And that's
true.
The other shield. Pix does not have PBs, but Jarhead does. Sorry, did I say Pix? I meant to say Jarhead.
Although I think Pix will have PBs soon.
He will, yeah, because that's the wallet spawning in right there on Pix's side, and Wallet Mail has his PBs.
Also, that side up accidentally carrying Pix a bit too far.
And yeah, we are seeing Jarhead now going to check what is inside of Earth Temple. If it's Tower of the Gods, that is a full dungeon available.
I'm fingers crossed that it's Tower of the Gods, just because vanilla entrances are boring. If you're gonna have entrance randomizer, I mean, come on. Like, at least spice things up a little bit.
And that's how you can get pearls in Tower of the Gods.
Exactly. Which is what I want. But we'll see.
He got the mirror shield there. I still never was able to clearly see what was inside Angular Cave.
I don't think it was spiky. It may have been a key chest. But it definitely was not a spiky chest. Jarhead, like, super peeked it. Yo, let's go. It is Tower of the Gods. All right, come on. Everybody, freaking bless up. Let's hope there's a pearl here, just because it's cool.
He can easily clear this whole dungeon. Everything but the big key chest and the boss are in logic. Thanks to small key logic, but we always just skip a small key in this dungeon anyway, so he has the one he needs.
I'm actually going to go ahead and start with Hop Across. Yeah, so it's funny. So Key Lunacy does also, again, change, like, well, it changes certain things because the keys are not necessarily in the dungeon. A lot of the times when you see people route Tower of the Gods, a lot of the routes are basically based around hoping, because there always will be a small key on the first floor of Tower of the Gods. That's just logically how it has to be. So we'll often save this check for last, because you hope the small key is just guaranteed to be here, and then you just skip it forever. But the chance of there being a key here is very low, and it would just be completely random, and you would never be able to, like, logic that out, essentially.
Yeah, it would be super, super funny if that was the other Tachi small key. I know even it wasn't a key chest, and if it was, he was in no world gonna go pick it up. But it would be very funny if you spent all that time to go get Hop
and
Across.
It's still the other Tower of the Gods small key. And you're like, oh, should I know? And gosh dang it, of course it's a small key.
Of course, it's always the small key.
Yeah, and it's cool to see. So yeah, Jarhead did the top of the door clip, which is especially nice with double magic. The benefit of that strat being it's water cycle independent, because you can just leaf your way to the ledge, which is nice. But it uses up a lot of magic, so especially with fire arrows, sometimes it's like a little awkward to do, because if you want to just fire arrow the torches, you kind of run out by the end.
Getting his another Triforce shard over in Chest Behind Bombable Walls.
I think we're gonna have to see some items here for
and they're
interesting.
Pix finally getting his power bracelets. Also gonna get his leaf here now too. Really nice finds. I'm sure Pix is very happy. Getting those an hour into the seed, getting leaf always feels pretty bad. Oh no, Jar.
No. Jarhead gonna clear this in like an order that I don't personally. Oh no.
Yeah. Well, Jar demonstrating why I always just do this check first. Because
also demonstrating why I always personally kill that yellow chew. It's just, I'm like, no point to leave him alive. He's asking for it, let's be honest.
A really empty floor 1 tot G other than that shard.
You got that shard. It feels especially empty because you get used to at least seeing a key chest here. So just seeing it all be browns, you're like, wait a minute.
Yeah. And gets that bomb clip out of bounds really quickly.
It's very good.
Heading to now.
That's side 4-1. I don't think he's gonna make this water cycle, and he doesn't.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
He's just gonna just back out of the water, spending a little bit of time. All right, Pix, what are we thinking? What are we feeling? Probably Outset Ferry into what we now know as Tower of the Gods, perhaps. I think they're largely out of stuff, so.
Well, we still haven't seen that first check in Wind Temple.
That's true. We can still hope that that's something spicy.
We can still hope. It's a pearl, and the iron boots are in Dragon Roost.
Okay, we're gonna see a big pig into Outset Fairy for picks. I hope he bought bait. I assume he did.
I didn't see if he did. He's opting to do the pig throw by turning it today.
Let's go for the fans. Pix is doing this for you all out there, so just know this is for you.
Hero's Charm. I'm pretty sure Jarhead did the pig throw too, and we're eating good today on ZSR.
This is we do these things for the fans. There he goes. Also, we got the classic rando pig color, black pig.
Look at him go! Yeah, the
big
rando
pig.
vanilla pig color.
Yeah. For if you don't know, if you never do anything with the pigs in Outset in Vanilla Wind Waker, the default is big pig is black. So for the longest time in the randomizer, big pig was always black, but then finally, I say finally like it was something we were specifically waiting for. Jarhead accidentally teabagging the statue over here. Yeah. That's just rude. What the hell, Jar?
He wasn't getting like down on the ground in the crouch, so he couldn't pick it up.
Yeah, but now the pig color gets randomized, which is fun, and so now our black pig boy gets to be a little bit special when you get to see him.
Now it's like meeting an old friend when we see him, and then we throw him about 100 yards.
Yes. When pigs fly, today.
Yeah.
Jarhead looking down in shame at the after having teabagged the statue. Honestly, that looked like a I actually don't know if the Armless Knights cause lag in HD when they explode. For all I know, they probably do, because there's a lot of weird particle things in HD that cause lag. So it looked like that was lag reduction, but it definitely wasn't.
Does Jarhead play HD?
I don't think so. That's what it looked like to me. Like, if you fight Goma in HD, you need to look away. Well, you don't need to. You want to look away from Goma in between phases, because when Goma pops out of the lava and sends freaking, like, lava shots everywhere, it gets really, really, really laggy. And just, like, actually probably wastes several seconds across the whole fight. So they'll intentionally look away. Yeah, we got Outset Fairy for picks, and then I would imagine they're going to be following behind Jarhead into Tower of the Gods.
Yeah, trip over.
That would just make sense.
I believe you're right, but
I hope I'm right.
We'll have to see.
I sure hope I'm right.
And there's the Cabana Deed.
Okay. It is actually in play.
Yeah, and Pix won't get super punished for not having that chest to store his way in later.
That's true. That's true.
Granted, storing your way into Cabana now in Wind Waker is no longer a very safe bet.
Yeah, it does get to be interesting. Yeah, so I guess just as a small aside, I was thinking about bringing it up earlier. Oh no, the bubbles. Yeah, because the Cabana Deed can show up in location that the hints tell us is barren, that would then by proxy mean that the inside of Cabana is also got nothing. So it's a little bit of a gamble to kind of break in there without finding that Deed is in logic somewhere.
In Season 5, which was our first season with these kind of hints, that build of the Rando actually didn't let Cabana Deed be considered a foolish item. So it is new. It is new to Season 6 that breaking into Cabana is a pretty risky play, whereas in seasons past it was always just a safe thing to do because you were gonna find it anyway.
Yeah, it's a pretty common little strat.
Yeah,
I honestly kind of like that as a change.
Oh, I do too. I love it.
And I don't remember what the mini boss was, but I guess it's nothing.
It was hinted. I think it was just nothing. Do they not need grapple? They will need grapple this seed for Goma, and that is Goma, and if anything is in Cabana, are the only things they would need grapple for this seed.
Hopefully Pix can get this water cycle. All right. Little bit awkward getting through the wall there. Got kind of trolled just a tiny bit, but won't actually lose any time because water cycles. All right.
For Cabana, they do need grapple for Cabana. They can't do Cabana right now.
Oh yeah,
but
yeah.
Since Cabanadid could potentially be on an island that was hinted as foolish, you may just never find Cabanadid. In this case, we have found Cabanadid. So once they find grapple, Cabanadid is a pretty or Cabana itself is a pretty safe place to go.
This kind of remind me of spoiler log though, when people
This
would
is a
forget
new-
that the Cabana entrance counts for
Oh, that you need grapple for it?
that you need grapple for it. Yeah, sorry, I don't know. I was also looking at Pix's sniping. Yo, there it is. Let's go, Pearl in Tower of the Gods.
Yeah,
Let's
that's
freaking go.
you don't
Neru's
see that
Pearl.
every day.
That's gonna be the only time you ever hear me pop off about Neru's Pearl. By the way, so savor it because normally I freaking hate. The only thing I hate more than Neru's Pearl is Din's Pearl.
Yeah, because
but-
it spawns Baito on Dragon.
Yeah, because it spawns Baito, and nobody likes Baito. But it does always make me think of Dean Machine, Dean's Pearl, but that's an older reference.
Very true. Pix unfortunately not getting that left side floor one skip in Tot G.
Jarhead going for the really tricky leaf pump strat across the scales room, and now almost getting trolled by the keys. Freaking
God, I
Zubat.
hate the keys in this room.
Yeah. Don't we all? Don't we all?
They're part of the flying enemies in Wind Waker are the worst crew.
Yeah, keys, P-hats, C-hats, they're all terrible. Cargarox, not great either.
Jarhead going with a lower flying route, so he should get that Wizrobe spawn
I think you're
in
right,
the next
yeah.
room.
Yeah, so this statue specifically, this is the reason why the key is hard forced. There's no way into this room without a small key. So that's why we were one of the things we were looking for. Has been a little bit rough for Pix. That like jump up strat to get on top of the pillar, I still honestly don't know like how to do that consistently. It just feels like it just works when it wants to.
Never considered it
Giving Keith another opportunity to troll him.
I've never considered this before, but Tal brings up a good point. Magtals sometimes do levitate away.
Yeah, maybe that is part of the reason why they suck.
Oh, the keys just being...
Oh my god.
I hate the keys so
Damn,
much.
they got annihilated by that spin attack though.
They deserved it.
Oh, I believe it. Yeah, 100%. I'm with you. Freaking get wrecked, nerds. Yeah,
Right.
I'll be honest, I always kill the keys in that room because I feel like, on average, killing the keys in that room makes my average clear time of this dungeon faster. It's like, yeah, sometimes they don't mess with you, and so killing them is like quote-unquote slow, but...
I'm surprised that Pix opted to open up the cross-dungeon warp pot there.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's probably just going to end up full clearing the dungeon, but maybe that's just like good habits kind of situation. Because I was probably thinking about doing it earlier, just with the random dungeons. Yeah, Jordan does this strat. I'll be honest, I've never been a fan of that. It's always really awkward, and I feel like doesn't end up being super quick a lot of the time because that's another one of those like I don't know why this works. Or I know why it works, but like it only kind of does.
It's a wooden chest. I was really hoping for it to be Din's Pearl.
Oh,
it would have been really cool to have two.
That would have been cool. That would have been cool. Hey, we got the one. I'm happy about the one.
But I notice we are still missing Iron Boots and Din's Pearl.
Oh my god, do you think?
And if Angular Cave was nothing, I didn't get a good look at the chest when they peeked it.
And I don't think it was. Are you trying to imply what I think you're implying?
Which means I think their only location left that like between them they haven't checked is the first chest in Wind Temple.
Oh my god. That's actually pretty incredible if that's true.
If we are keeping track, obviously, does Din's have to be in logic with Din's always has to be in logic.
Yeah,
I mean,
but
I guess
well, the Tower of the Gods entrance is required this
Yeah.
seed, so at least
Yeah.
in this instance, I know it is for sure. I don't know about in general.
I think with other seeds, I think the pearls can be considered foolish if you don't need Taji entrance, but I think that's true of any season 6 seed.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Angular Cave.
That is not that is a question for.
Yeah, I think that's how it works. I'm not 100% sure. I know both runners have peaked Angular Cave. I couldn't get a good look at the chests because they're transparent and far away.
Yeah.
But they will know if Angular Cave is spiky or not.
Yeah.
Jarhead still hasn't done the top of Cabana, or the top of Waterfall at Cabana. So I imagine that...
if you're staring down the barrel of top of Waterfall and otherwise go all the way back up to DRC and hope that one chest actually opens up more stuff.
Oh, you 100% do the top of
You
Cabana,
definitely go to the waterfall first, yeah.
But we know he'll just find a shard there.
Yeah, which is not going to help him out. Okay, holding the extra bomb. Kaboom. Okay, Racked go down in the cutscene. Rolled. God, imagine you could somehow skip this cutscene with it by doing that.
That would
or
be nice.
Break yourself out of it.
This is, since the, in the next build of the rando, the statue cutscenes in this dungeon will be sped up. Can we speed up this cutscene?
Can we speed up Godon? Can you just freaking sneeze out the shard for us, please?
Can we just speed up all the boss death cutscenes? Some of them are so long.
Hey,
this is one of the so long ones.
We need to keep it because occasionally I'll have to use the bathroom while doing a seed.
Oh,
and so this is where it's like, you get yourself like ready to go. You're like already standing up at your desk and like, all right, boss is dead. Set down the controller and run to the.
It's like time to go. In this room, I don't. Outside of forced water expiring, I don't know of any way to get storage in this room.
I don't think you can get storage off the electric floor. You could probably take damage, have invincibility frames, and then get storage off the electric floor.
I don't know if you have enough time to do that.
It'd be tight, yeah, it'd be tight.
And yeah, with that telescope equip, I imagine Jar is going to head to Oasis here.
Looking like it. Yep, gonna go ahead and peek that, whatever it is, and we'll probably go get it.
I can't believe we're in a scenario where it's just going to be...
Again, potential triple dip wind temple that's in DRC entrance, which is like so irritating because it's actually pretty long to get up there.
Also, so we know from hints that the top of Tree Branch at Forest Haven is dead, but with Leaf and Magic, they can get the small island check. I know Pix peeked it earlier.
Oh,
I don't know
if
it
might have been spiky. I think it might have been spiky.
It might have been. Yeah. If it is spiky, I imagine we might see that check before. Wait, did Pix get that chest? Oh, sorry. Did Jarhead get that chest at Oasis?
Oh, I don't think you did.
I don't think he did, and we know that was a shard.
Jarhead is going to go check the small island chest, which, it's technically not in logic because we don't have the grappling hook. That is a logical requirement.
Jarhead. But that might be a problem for Jarhead. He did not get that chest at Oasis, and he did mark it off his tracker.
Oh.
So I don't know if he saw it and was like, I'm going to try to come back later, but he has the deed. I think Jarhead mispeaked that chest.
This is Jar doing the dance, the seance of like, please open stuff up for me. I really hope this is like a shard or something.
That would be funny.
Ideally, this is a shard. Also, yeah, shout outs again to the Pearl in Tower of the Gods.
Yeah, the Pearl. I was about to say the same thing.
Let's go.
Oh, it's a shard.
Oh, yes. It doesn't open up anything.
So, but yeah, that might be really bad for Jarhead.
Hike your butts back up into freaking DRC. We're going back. That's incredible.
Also,
I really am hoping that it doesn't end up going that way, where Jarhead just doesn't realize.
Yeah.
That,
so
at least he has deed.
He has deed. If he is only missing that shard, he will go back there at the end of the seed, obviously looking for that inside Cabana and might notice it then. But he did mark that off his own personal tracker. And we know it's a shard.
And there's no way he wouldn't like, because again, you know, you might be like, oh, well, I guess he has deed, so there's even no point to save the chest. But even if he didn't have deed, at this point, when you're staring down the barrel of first check of Wind Temple, there's no way you leave that chest alone.
Yeah.
So I think you're right. I think 100% that's a mispeak, which is a little scary.
Yeah, for sure. That could come back to bite him. Again, we know that if he's looking for that last shard, he will go back to Cabana.
Now, at least the deed was not in a barren spot, so he like.
Yeah, that would be even worse.
Yeah, that would actually make it way worse.
But going back to Cabana, he might not have a good reason to really pay attention to that check, at least. So it's not guaranteed.
I have a weird question.
Hit me with
it. Is it faster to go into Forsaken Fortress and go around to the Interdungeon Warp Pot than walk all the way back up to the Dragon Roost Cavern entrance?
It honestly,
I'm like wondering.
It honestly might be.
It's like you'd have to go around because you haven't fought Phantom Ganon, but like that doesn't take too long. And I'm like half wondering. Like honestly, it might be decent. It'd be close.
Spiky, close. We know it had it. What do we think it is? If this is Din's Pearl,
Pearl would be very funny.
Yeah, it would be a
honestly
nightmare.
The most boring this could be is Iron Boots, which is still pretty incredible.
Remember when I said I wanted Iron Boots?
You actually really did get Iron Boots in Wind Temple. That's incredible.
Doubters talking about it can only be in one check, which is true. That's the one check it can be.
Interesting. Jar turned off the wind and is still doing the spring jump.
I wanted the nightmare of it being Din's Pearl and then Iron Boots in Dragon Roost Cavern.
My god, the
just because that would be
sort of forced
so
triple
annoying.
Dip. Yeah, forced double dip.
Forced double dip,
and it would have been a triple because they both went to get the information here.
Yeah, but just. It would have been so funny for us not playing.
Yeah, 100%. That's the commentator's privilege.
Exactly.
As the Pix was ever so slightly too far for that bomb boost. Yo, take that, chest.
I manifested it, true. That is, we did see two really cool consequences of entrance rando here, though. The orb, the pearl in Taji, it's an orb, I guess, and the Iron Boots in Wind Temple. And we could, this one's not a dungeon entrance rando thing, but we could still see a grapple
in DRC.
Yeah, that's not necessarily
that's not that
weird,
special, but that would still be kind of cool.
Yeah, with all the other things, it would be cool to see too.
Yeah. That would be pretty cool. Okay, it looks like Jarhead is a fan of opening up the center early, just based on where he put Makar. Actually, I don't think I've seen him do Wind Temple for a while, so.
And there's our pearl.
There's the final pearl. Kind of figured it was going to end up being in here at this point. Yeah, one of the things that's really interesting to me. So Jarhead is definitely one of the old heads at this point, I think, in the Wind Waker rando community. So, I feel like sometimes like certain strats in certain places have kind of like changed, and like some things have sort of fallen out of meta or like stayed in meta. So it's like it's fun for me. Like sometimes I'll see Jarhead pull out some classic stuff, and I'm like, it feels good. It takes me back.
If grappling hook is the last Go mode required item, that would be funny. I imagine it won't be Jar's Go mode, just because he did seem to mispeak that chest we know how to try for sure.
True.
But it could be otherwise. Like if that's all he's missing is that one shard and grapple, we'd know that grapple should be his Go mode.
Well, and interestingly, for Jarhead specifically, he might not go back to Cabana until he gets grapple. So
exactly.
In some ways, it kind of could be.
Yeah. Another interesting thing here is this seed, it was forced DRC as your last dungeon, which is also, like, otherwise impossible.
A little bit unusual, yeah. As well.
Well, because like without entrance rando, you can always go into DRC. Like maybe you can get forced it as your last boss to kill, but
And we'll have to say, I'm actually kind of curious. I wonder how high sphere at this point DRC is technically. Because it's Tower of the Gods entrance with a pearl in both of the other dungeons. And also behind all 4 of the random DRC small keys.
First room through Rat Room are Sphere 7. I'll have you know.
Oh, jeez.
Do you remember? Was it there?
About as high as some of them
Greyfish that
go.
had a DRC key, right? Was that where?
There's definitely a key
Pix got a
chest
third
there.
one. Pix got a third one. I'm gonna assume it was Greyfish. Which just makes Bird's Nest
what do we
Sphere
got
7
here?
too.
It's like nothing on. Almost call it the mini boss. That big key does kind of feel like a mini boss, doesn't it?
Yeah.
The triple Dark Nut fight, like, it might as well be. It's just Tower of the Gods mini boss on steroids.
Yeah. It's just not a mini boss because it doesn't give you the dungeon item.
True. Oh, yeah, I guess they all do that, don't they?
Oh, okay.
I don't think I've ever really thought about that. I'd be dead serious.
They all give you the dungeon item and have you fight a new kind of enemy for the first time.
Like my rando is showing.
The pseudo exception to that is the Moblin in DRC, which is the mini boss, but you've seen Moblins before at that point. But all the
That's
other
the first
mini
time
bosses,
you like really properly fight them.
yeah, that's the first time you fight them. All the other mini bosses introduce a new enemy to you for the first time.
Huh. Or in the case of Wind Temple, just have a unique enemy.
Well, that's the first time you see a
I don't-
summoning Wizrobe in Wind
Oh,
Temple.
is it really?
Wind Temple. Yep.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Oh, maybe not. There's that one at the beginning of the dungeon that I always forget about.
Frickin'
I don't
two
remember if
fiends,
that's
damn.
there that early in vanilla.
Well, the first one doesn't summon though. Oh no, yeah, that's right. The guy in the
that's
chat
true.
room. Yeah,
Yeah.
chat room guy.
I don't remember if he's there before in vanilla. It's been a long time. Because that could also be...
Oh, yeah, maybe.
It could be like
maybe.
he's not supposed to spawn until later. I don't actually know. Yeah, he is the only Wizrobe in the orange one, but like...
It wouldn't surprise me if he's not normally... Oh, Jarhead accidentally falling down. At least it's just Chew spawns on this first one.
Yeah, that's the only Wizrobe that can summon a Dark Nut, is the mini-boss.
Oh, I mean, that's the only time that you see that with sort of the Archmage Wizrobe, or whatever you call him.
I mean, he is technically unique at that point, but... I was more just talking... I'd have to play vanilla again up to Wind Temple, and I don't really know that I want to do that.
Yeah, imagine playing vanilla. Cringe. All right, we got Shard on Jar. So that's actually the last Shard that we haven't seen.
Yeah.
Is our final quote-unquote overworld Shard. And Pix is gonna do the same decision that Jar made, which is, hey, let's pick up this Forest Haven stuff. It might not be in logic technically, but I would much sooner do this than go back to Wind Temple, where I can't full clear right now.
And it looks like here, just showing a bit of difference. So Jarhead knew that with the two magics, he could sail all the way from the Cyclone, or leaf all the way from the Cyclone to the small island. But Pix, who's a newer runner, is doing kind of an updated strat for getting both checks
I didn't even
here.
think about that. Yeah.
But I think, just being new, Pix probably doesn't know the old strat of leafing straight from the Cyclone.
We didn't used to do Forest Haven backwards.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so leafing to the small island from the Cyclone was a pretty common thing. That's a good point.
Well, I mean, Jarhead has been around for years. Pix started with our Mini Blins tournament earlier this year and qualified for top 24 in season 6. So he's come a long way in a short amount of time.
Yeah, which is pretty cool. Yeah, shout out to Minibuns. I think a lot of people really enjoyed that tournament.
Lights were Ice Ring. They were not Hop Across.
Which is probably where Pix is thinking about going soon.
And I don't remember if I answered this before, but we do not know where the last sword is. I would guess it's just in DRC.
Yeah, probably. But I guess we'll see. I don't remember if this was hinted, so... Although I'm feeling like it probably was because Jar is not fighting any of the guys, and the wizard got to spawn his stuff. So
yeah,
I'm feeling like it probably was hinted. Yeah, it was definitely hinted. Kill all enemies is in fact dead. Nice. I love that hint so much because I hate doing that.
yeah.
At least we had lights, so like it wouldn't be the worst thing, but it's just annoying.
Yeah, with lights, it's definitely not that bad.
Yeah, giving the high five to the floor master. Oh, no, always high five the floor master. Otherwise, he may kill you.
Well, the floor masters, the rumor of your death is exaggerated. Floor masters kill you.
It's true.
They might kill your spirit. I guess.
They may kill your time. They
Yeah.
may kill your run. And I noticed Jarhead has equipped bombs.
Oh,
I feel like we might see some attempts at some fast regrabs or whatever you want to call it. Sort of like the one cycle Mulgara. It's a hard strat. I think Jarhead was one of the first rando runners that I saw actually going for it at all, so I'm not too surprised to see it from him. But it is hard. But we shall see.
And it is... I don't know if the audio switched, but it is... Jarhead is cat jamming on his own stream, at least.
So what Jar is going to look to do here is hookshot the tongue just a little bit before that bomb goes off, and then it's taken the damage, but there's a small window of time between, like, when you hookshot Mulgara's tongue and, like, when Mulgara will actually, like, reel back from damage. So you're trying to get it on the first frame if you can, but didn't quite get it. So we're just going to see the rest of this fight looking pretty normal. Oh, I think we may have fallen into the trap that I was a little bit worried about earlier. Yeah, Jarhead's game audio is very loud on his stream. So if you got your ears blown out, I hope you like cat jamming really hard, because if you can hear me over the sound of cat jam...
It's Ricky, you don't have to apologize. You weren't here when we discovered that Jarhead's audio was incredibly loud.
Yeah. Like a weather reporter. So Jarhead actually got it was a little dicey for a second there. Mulgara almost coming out of the ground and kind of wrecking him. Luckily it was fine. And Pix is going to do Fire Mount, which makes me sad, but it is required, so...
Yeah,
I guess
what are you
that's
going
fair.
to do?
And also, when it comes down between first check of Wind Temple and you don't know you can do the rest, and Fire Mountain is also available, I guess I can understand.
Yeah.
I have more respect for Pix for waiting to do this one.
I was going to say, I think
last
even
location.
you wouldn't bet on Wind Temple check 1 over Fire Mountain.
I'd be tempted, but yeah, it's hard to say. Not actually running the seed, I can't fully say what I would do in the moment. That might be as close to a full clear as, I would count at that point. Jarhead saying Monk S on his stream. It was close. He honestly, he flirted with disaster there. Pretty hardcore. Yeah. Mulgara snuck up on him, which is not easy, you would think, for a worm of that size.
It's so just so chat knows what we're talking about, Jarhead, over his map tracker on his personal stream, a text box appeared that said Monka S.
Should put it over the game. Come on, let the stream see. Hashtag let the stream see.
We're gonna start that, get that trending on Twitter.
Oh yeah. No one will understand it if they weren't here. Had to be here for it. Hashtag had to be here for it. And now Pix, out of locations to do, is gonna head into Wind Temple. And we'll find the iron boots that are there. This is Jarhead. They're gonna high five, one in, one out. And I assume Jarhead is gonna go probably straight to DRC, which he is.
There is a check in the Ice Ring Inner Cave. However, that check is considered both a puzzle secret cave and a combat secret cave. In these settings and with their runners agreements, we do not have combat secret caves on, so that check is out of logic.
Mm-hmm. Although perhaps one day that will be a random entrance. I think that is actually going to eventually be counted as part of the nested entrances that are being experimented with.
Yeah, I believe
That is
you're
for the
right.
future. And Jarhead doing a lot of stick juggling and then either accidentally throws the stick and says no, no thank you, or just remembering I've got fire arrows, I guess I'll just do that.
Yeah.
Hard to say which one it was. And we
And
get the very
weird-
rare
Yeah.
DRC first chest is just nothing, which is always kind of fun. It's very disappointing when you play Key Lunacy and that just ends up being a key anyways, which I have seen. Even if it's a key for another dungeon, it's kind of still a little bit sad.
Jarhead shooting down that platform in DRC. The reason why he only needed 2 small keys is because he can just do this. Looks like he's a little far to the right. But
There we go, we got it though.
and there, Pick's gonna get just the craziest Iron Boots location.
Iron Boots in Wind Temple.
Actually, not. I already came up with the craziest. Would have been that's Din's Pearl and Iron Boots are in Dragon Roost, but
It's still pretty good though.
nearly the craziest. And there's
Did
the
get
grappling
grapple
hook.
in
I guess
DRC? Oh my god.
really
got the
wasn't anywhere
3-piece.
else for it.
I mean, yeah.
The only thing we haven't checked other than that is Cabana, so we know it's not going to be in there.
I think that Stalfos kind of screwed Pix over a little bit. I think Pix was trying to turn around to shield it, and then reloaded the spring, so got a spring jump. The stored jump from the spring.
Oh, Jarhead.
Wait, what happened there?
He flew off.
Was he trying to? Maybe he's trying to do like the front half first. I'm not
Maybe.
sure. I kind of looked away, because it might be
Yeah.
just because like thinking about the like he's trying to do the sort of the front half first, I guess. With the way it works with logic, like technically this is all much lower sphere than the top part of the dungeon, because the top part of the dungeon is behind 4 DRC small keys that can be anywhere. So I assume that is the decision here.
I can't answer the question about Link to the Past, Rando, because I don't know Link to the Past at all. But I'll explain it this way. They have the dungeon entrances randomized, so their Wind Temple was not where Wind Temple normally is, and normally Iron Boots are logically required to get into Wind Temple. So it is very uncommon to see Iron Boots inside Wind Temple.
Because normally it's not possible. Alright, so far this is DRC left side is not showing up.
Yeah.
It has not had anything. To be fair, I think at this point we're only looking for one sword.
Look at, yeah.
Jarhead is
Unreached, we're only looking
missing.
for a sword.
Yeah, Jarhead is missing the shard that's also on Cabana, but yeah, on Restream, the one thing that we're looking for is a sword here. Oh, oh, nice, gets the ledge grab, big.
Yeah, he was very, he was eager for that chest to be something.
It also looked like we were maybe gonna like, oh, maybe I'll just save warp, and then like, oh, maybe I won't. Probably wants to go check the basement, perhaps. You can't just ignore the basement like we normally like to.
It's true.
Because again, can't guarantee it's a small key. In fact, it's actually lower
think it's
sphere
gonna
than
be
a lot of the rest of the dungeon.
Oh, he's not getting the basement.
Oh, never mind, I lied.
Oh, it was hinted. The big key chest was hinted.
Oh, that's right, it was. Gosh dang it.
You know, you said
I would've
you said
checked
you were
it.
gonna do it, and then we did it.
I would
We
have
both
checked
did
it.
it.
I would have 100% checked. I would have forgotten.
Well,
I always
that's
forget my hints, man.
a great reason why when you get hints that tell you don't need to do something, just mark it off your tracker immediately.
See, but then the problem is I don't actually open up the dungeon part of my tracker when I'm in the dungeon. And I think Jar is going to reset the void out point at this door up here. Probably just turn around and go back, unless under rope was also hinted. It was also hinted. Ignore me. Just, you know, I know so much, clearly. Very smart. Very smart runner.
You don't have to pay too close attention to the hints. You're just calming. You're not playing. You know?
Yeah, but see, if I was playing, though, I also probably be paying equal amount of attention to the hints.
Well, they don't have to know that.
That's fair. That's fair. But they do know. Whoops.
Damn.
Their mini boss is nothing. Jarhead is probably just gonna go ahead and use the power invested in the grappling hook that we already have. Time to peace out.
Fastest way to play is as if hints don't exist. Then you get an Earth Temple Baron hint.
And then you cry.
And you full clear Earth Temple while everyone else didn't.
Yeah, that would be like one of those moments too, where it'd be like going through and like, hey, was this not hinted? Like, or like, was this like not the race mode dungeon? Like, oh shoot.
Yeah.
Like, wait a minute, did I make a big mistake? Okay, there has been like nothing here. It's probably just in Cabana. Sword in Cabana. Oh, unlucky.
We know all we don't have is that sword, and the boomerang is not bait. It was peaked at the top of Headstone, so obviously opted not to pick that up because you don't need it, and it would be
It'd take longer to get than it would be useful. So
yeah, exactly.
I'll go ahead and leave it where it is. I actually might use this moment. I gotta step away just for a brief second. So,
all right. Ooh, that is.
Oh, actually, hang on. Wait, never mind. I don't have to step away. I have to see what this is first.
That is the last sword.
So we'll see. I don't think Jarhead actually has much else besides Cabana. Oh, he's gonna choose to go forward through intern room. I actually probably would have gone to the blue warp. Okay, anyway, I'll be right back.
All right. Yeah, that was his last sword, and so now the question is, will he notice that the waterfall chest at Private Oasis is spiky going back there? Because if he doesn't notice that, he might be looking for that shard for a while. Yeah, it is very hard to say, because if he thinks he peaked that correctly, he might be struggling to find that shard. What overworld do we have left? The only overworld left is the inside of Cabana Labyrinth, but we do know that Jarhead mispeaked the top of Waterfall at Cabana, which is where his last shard is. So there's a very good chance that he notices that chest is spiky when he goes to Cabana looking for his shard in the labyrinth. Pix making some mad gambles? I don't believe Pix is making some bad gambles. Right, he doesn't have Wind Temple Big Key? Maybe. Wait, no, he does have Wind Temple Big Key. Yeah, that was from the postman. He has the big key. Ooh, well, luckily he doesn't have storage, because he missed that jump. He has he has that top of Waterfall marked. So, because he peaked that earlier, and he mispeaked it as a wooden chest when it is in fact his last shard. But because he has to go to the maze looking for his last shard, it is not unlikely he will notice that that's actually a spiky chest.
Also, I'm back. And oh no, did I miss Goma? Oh man.
No.
No, dude.
You actually
you
didn't go do anything. You just like sat in your chair, your arms crossed, angry at Goma.
It's just like, look, I don't know how to make this fight interesting. So I choose to leave Koala to deal with it.
Yeah.
No, not really. I am slightly worried. I was thinking about this in those brief moments. Because Jarhead might think that he's peaked this already, it's possible to just make your way into Cabana and not really look that closely at the chest up there.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. It's because he already thinks he's peaked it. it's not impossible he won't notice it's spiky, but he luckily is in the best position to notice it's spiky of he needs to go to the cabana anyway.
This is true. So we'll see. I'm trying to see how much camera time it was on. It was on screen for a very brief moment there.
Ooh.
Okay.
Oh no.
Let's see. This is what I was saying. Yeah, look how quick that was.
Yeah, he didn't look, he didn't notice.
Because you wouldn't even like, if I thought I peeked it and I thought I know what I saw.
You wouldn't give it.
I wouldn't
be
even really be thinking to look over there. Yeah.
Exactly.
Like no matter how much is on screen. Now, if I was like slightly unsure of the peak, maybe I'd be like, oh, since I'm here, I'll quickly glance over that direction.
And
so we'll see what happens.
In Jarhead's favor, he is basically a full dungeon ahead of Pix right now, so he has the time buffer.
This is true.
To figure out what went wrong, but
it can always be hard trying to retrace your steps through a seed. So we'll see how it goes. Often a place to start is like, okay, well, what did I peek?
Yeah, exactly. That is.
I don't know if these are his two, like, last in location things. I'm not sure.
I think they are.
If they aren't, it's definitely close. So at least to Jar's benefit, he might be while he's here and like trying to think about what to do next. Be like, oh crap, I missed something somewhere. What's going on? You might just in the meantime be like, well, I did just peek this chest. Let me see if Let me just make sure while I'm here and think otherwise thinking.
Yeah, I don't think.
See.
And that is a wooden chest, as we expect.
Yeah, so nothing in cabana. Yeah, so I'm seeing 0 out of 0. I think that was in fact his last thing. So we're gonna have to see how this plays out. Because now Jarhead gets to play everybody's least favorite game in the randomizer, which is
what did I miss?
What did I forget? Ooh, and he's gonna work away.
He's leaving.
No.
You say it should be kind of quick, but it can be hard to think of what did I do wrong, right? Especially the more confident you were in a decision. And I imagine he had to be very confident in thinking that was wooden to leave it in that where he was. Where all he had...
The only other option he had was go up to freaking Wind Temple and just hope that
hope that Wind Temple is what he needed.
Because at that point, that was his only logical check remaining.
Yeah, at that point, his only logical checks were Waterfall and the first chest in Wind Temple. So I imagine he had to be very confident, so it might not even be on his mind. He has put
this is probably like
over his map tracker.
Yeah, this is probably like, oh, maybe I mispeaked inside angular. Let's go there. So yeah, again, this is where we start to retrace our steps.
And so
so this is gonna give Pix a little bit of time to do some catching up.
Yeah,
Jarhead does have a buffer, but we'll have to see.
Pix is about a dungeon behind Jarhead, but that the longer Jarhead tries to figure out what he missed, what he mispeaked, the more time Pix has to catch up. And Pix will get... Where was that sword? It was the pot room.
Yeah, it was pot room. Yeah.
That could be the first thing Pix... No, probably not.
Yeah, I imagine he'll probably do top to bottom. So he'll probably check the mini boss and he'll do...
He will skip the, the small key locked section of DRC if he goes top to bottom there.
Yeah, so
Pix has, actually really, regardless of what route he does, Pix is going to do about half of this dungeon and then find his go mode. So Jarhead has the lead to figure out where he missaw something, but
it's having been in this position, myself as a runner, it's tough sometimes.
It is stressful, and he's heading here to
really
Greatfish.
Hard. I have a couple things that I commonly that I've made mistakes on before. Those are kind of my go-tos. But yeah, double checking, make sure he peeked that correctly. He did. It is in fact a key chest. And then, run's not over until Ganon's got a sword in his forehead. So. But at least I will say this. At least this is part of the reason why loser's bracket is a best of 3. So even if this race does not go his way due to this, it's not necessarily the end for Jar here. So we'll have to see. Give him more time to kind of retrace his steps, walk back through the route, and try to think about what it may have been. I'm sure he's kicking himself a little bit. Yeah, Pix shooting down the platform.
Pix
I think he's actually also slightly to the right. I think it's the same situation that Jar was in.
Oh, but Pix is almost out of arrows. He's really
arrows.
and he's not adjusting his aim at all, which is... Oh, no.
Well, may just end up... Yeah, these don't
Well,
have arrows.
he could leave the dungeon and buy arrows at Beetle,
That's
but
true,
I don't know
actually. Yeah, wait, Beetle actually has arrows in this quadrant. I didn't see where Jarhead warped to, so...
Ooh, he's on outset.
Gonna go double check and make sure we peek top of headstone, perhaps.
That is good for Jar, though. The more, because that is just Pix delaying his time in DRC. Unfortunately,
Pix is gonna go ahead and go buy some arrows from Beetle. So yeah, if you ever, and this is also just kind of nice, is just in general. So oftentimes coming out of Godon, you might have like 1 arrow, 2 arrows, sometimes even no arrows. So this is not the worst place to pick up a little refill after doing Tower of the Gods, because I'll just sell you 30 right there.
Yep.
Also notable, the Beetle on Greatfish will also sell you those. So sometimes if you're like gonna go to Needle Rock afterwards with some fire ice checks, you can go pick up some there. Especially if you don't want to or can't else slide into that.
Shark Island will also sell you those arrows.
That is true. No, that is it's the same Beetle inventory.
Pix here now heading to Greatfish, thinking maybe he mispeaked the scale of the wall.
And by Pix you mean Jar?
And by
Greatfish
why do
you mean
I keep doing that? What is wrong with me?
But you know, other than that, yeah, 100% correct.
I got every important part of that sentence wrong.
Yeah, you were over 2 there, but also, I think that's 2 shots there for Pix.
Listen.
And there we go. And Pix gets it in only 7 arrows that time, so it's just like that. Isn't that the classic? Took a bunch of arrows the first time, couldn't quite get it, and then gets it in like next to no arrows. So
first time was practice.
Exactly. Just honing in the aim. Okay, Jar gonna pop up to this one. I think this was. Oh, I don't think was this hinted or this was a peek, but yeah. Again, this is just another check that like you normally peek it. Jarhead just gonna make sure that he didn't miss peek it. Again, I'm just worried that like. That Cabana chest is just not as obvious as a one that you miss peek sometimes.
Yeah, and because like the position where he peeked it, he had to be like we said, he had to be really confident in that peek to not get it.
Yeah. So it's probably low on the mind, but he might still remember peek because at this point you're just going through like what are all the things that I peeked? Right?
Yeah.
Like if you hadn't done fly around, like if they hadn't actually picked up like the fly around DRI, like that would be on the radar, stuff like that.
Now I also wonder, is he in the position where he's thinking like, well, I went back to Cabana, of course it was nothing. I've been there twice.
That's true. That's very true. Well, Pix is gonna continue marching forward through DRC. And we shall
The fact that he found Cabanadid messed this whole up. Oh, no. If he didn't find Cabanadid, he might have never even gone to the island.
Yeah, it's hard to say.
That's the other problem. Because if you can not find Cabanadid in these seeds. And in fact, this seed would have been a seed where Cabanadid could have been on a foolish chest.
Oh, yeah, because we didn't actually... there wasn't anything in there.
Yeah. So if he didn't find Cabanadid, he might not even gone back to Cabana. Now, whether that would have made him think maybe I mispeaked the chest... It's hard to say.
Yeah, because now this is getting into what you were just saying, where it's like, yeah, he's been there twice now.
He's been there twice. It can be so easy to convince yourself, like, oh, I saw what was there. It was nothing. And I went there twice. Of course I saw it.
Shouldn't this chest actually still be... Oh, you reset this chest. Oh, crap. Yeah, because this was definitely wooden, but he reset it. But he did kind of reset it pretty early into its spawning animation, which is, I assume, probably the reason he's here.
Mm-hmm.
Probably was just like, I think maybe I reset that too fast. Like, oh, crap. So you're trying to save as much time as you can. You are in a race after all. So. Huh? Hey,
Pix is
shall-
getting
we shall
closer and
carry.
closer to
Yeah.
finding that sword.
Because yeah, we'll probably wait about. Well, I don't even think there is anything actually outside the boss. I think these are double wooden.
Yeah, double wooden.
Which,
He's leafing over. I'm very surprised that he is opting to fight the boss now. I mean, you have to
starting
do it
with
anyway.
Goma. Yeah.
Yeah, you have to do it anyway, but that's a very strange decision in my opinion.
I think it's only this time wise. This will lose a save warp and a walk back to what's the word?
The
A
warp
walk back to the warp pot. To be fair, the one benefit is normally on DRI or on Dragon Roost Cavern you wouldn't want to because leaving the dungeon is actually really, really long. But
Yeah.
if it's in the Tower of the Gods sector, leaving the dungeon is actually very, very short.
Yeah.
In fact, it is incredibly short. Jarhead checking one of the locations that this is on my list of locations to double check. Did I forget to do Wind Shrine? For me, it's did I forget to do Wind Shrine? Yes or no? Did I not get underneath Link's house? Yes or no? Did I not?
Very funnily, he's going to get that heart container back that he reset at the start of the
I forgot
seed.
he reset this one. That's right.
Which is just kind of funny since we talked about like, oh, he got a heart container. Oh, never mind, he reset it.
No, I got it back.
And in the end, no, he got the heart container.
Oh, that's unlucky. Freaking Goma RNG. The one rock.
Oh, he's warping to Tower of the Gods.
Tower of the Gods. Pause for dramatic effect. Let's see, where are we heading?
He's heading
Okay,
to.
this is heading to Cabana.
I think he has now guessed right for what he where he made a mistake.
May have misspeaked. Yeah, I think we're gonna go ahead and pick it up. But now, all of a sudden, we got Pix finishing up Goma, and we'll hopefully hit up the pot room soon. You know, I just had a thought. I feel like Pix might go to Hyrule. Would be my guess.
Was hinted.
Oh, is it? Never mind. Pix will not be going to Hyrule. Get out of the way, freaking tree. We're trying to see our spiky chest up there. Get out of the way, freaking rock. We're trying to see. It's
Get out of the way,
really
island. We're trying to see a
It's
chest
really
on the
trying
island.
to screw him. Oh, there it is.
And there it is.
There it is. Nice. Get that nice big zoom in. Maybe even take an extra bonus picture with the camera. Really set that in. That was always the classic. Like you forget a shard in the boss room, gotta go take a picture of it with the camera. Don't forget.
He is still. He knows. Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He knows.
So he did. It is a lot closer now. Pix opting to fight Goma first means he still doesn't have that sword though. So he has to go pick up that sword. So Jarhead still has a pretty healthy lead now before going into Hyrule, but he did lose almost his entire full dungeon lead over Pix here.
It's definitely a lot closer. We'll see what Pix opts to do here. Is he gonna go? Is he gonna? Oh, I guess I was really about to ask again. Is he gonna go gamble Hyrule? No, hopefully not, because it was hinted dead. But I don't remember if he has more overworld.
He has Cabana?
True.
But I don't know. I'm not a fan of this decision. I think DRC is very fast to like peek the checks.
They kind of like run through backwards, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, did you leave some things in Wind Temple? Oh, I don't think I
think
realized
he
that.
left
Maybe.
things. I don't think he did.
Nah, I'm just trusting blank on this one, to be honest.
Yeah.
Blank, if you led me astray, I swear to. Just kidding. Oh, that's save actually. Oh,
But this is.
I could be checking. Yeah, it's Cabana. You're
Yeah,
right,
he's
Cabana.
checking Cabana. I'm not a fan of this decision, personally.
This might even just be like a Pix feels like he's behind and wants to, you know, get a little crazy with it. But yeah, that's
maybe, but
having the commentator overhead and knowing that we were literally one check away. One check away.
Yeah, we were one
psyche
one
there.
check away. But the reason I'm personally not a fan of this decision is less because we know where the sword is, and more that it's like peeking the chests in DRC is so fast.
It's pretty quick to kind of burn through, yeah.
Yeah, you can walk through it pretty quickly. And when you're only looking for one sword, it's like I personally would favor density, and there's a lot more checks left for him in DRC than there are here in Cabana. So
Wants to believe in the Cabana. The Cabana Armory. Which is unfortunately not in effect this seed. But I wonder if it's even been like slightly on his mind just because he was like, well, I gotta open this chest. I can't save it to break in. But
yeah,
I'll check it if I can later. And then he got deed and was like, I can do it later. Nice. I'm going back for sure.
maybe it's possible. I just
God, rats, freaking come on! Please let us hold our angle. Why
will
is
there be a second round today? I do not believe so.
No, I don't think so. I think it's scheduled for a future day. If it is even scheduled, I think it probably actually I don't know.
Imagine.
I can try and check the schedule real fast while Jar is rolling to Phantom.
Yeah, it
Let's
looks
check
like
out.
they are
look
scheduled
see.
for next week for their
Okay.
second game. If I'm not missing
Yeah,
a game.
literally,
in
yeah,
between.
literally a week from now will be game 2. So. Whatever that
Pick's-
game shall hold, it shall be a week from now.
Pick's gonna get the bad news here that Cabana Deed could have been in a foolish location.
Yeah. Didn't make the save in Tower of the God sector, so I'll just go ahead and reset back out to there.
Yeah.
And may even go back in the dungeon. We'll have to see. What is the play here? Oh, interesting. Yeah,
Oh, he's leaving.
Okay, yeah. Which, I mean, to be fair, at this point, if it's kind of like, if you had some other stuff elsewhere, you choose to leave DRC, so you played your hand, right?
Yeah.
That was the decision made.
Because he didn't get on top of the boulder when peeking scale the wall.
Ooh.
He got the thing where like Link just runs up the side and then jumps off.
And it kind of does weird stuff. Gotcha. Oh,
yeah, so
shoot.
he couldn't peek scale the wall, so he's checking this now. But again, it kind of returns back to what I said of DRC is just the most check dense and quick to peek here. I'm personally not a fan of leaving it to check some overworld, but
I see Jared shaking the camera too. Probably just, yeah, it's one of those things like you have no idea where the other person's at.
mhm.
And, you know, just probably not in the highest spirits, I would imagine.
Yeah, especially after that. And like I said,
Oh,
I'm
couple
sure he
fast
was
shots there though.
Yeah, very clean PG-1.
Oh,
And I'm
maybe
sure
he
was
missed.
so-
Maybe no. I think he did get the first quick shot, unless that is what he missed, and that's why he was shaken. I'm not sure. Oh, nothing on scale. Resetting again. We're going back. I think that's all
to
the way back
DRC
to.
we
I
go.
think that's back to Tower of the Gods. So go. You know, maybe back in. We're here again. Round 2. Oh, here we go. Just dodge the freaking portal.
And right in he goes.
Yeah, that kind of feels like a situation where this is like the Earth Temple situation. Where like, well, I can check basement left side, or I can pop out for Bito Mail and then like check the Picto box that I also found here, you know, or check the Cabana deed that I also found here. Kind of same old story.
Yeah.
Which, hey, you know, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Oh, and he's actually going straight to pot. Oh no, this is gonna be the true sadness.
Yeah.
Hey, it's rando. If we knew where the items were, it wouldn't be. Well, it'd be just different, I guess. I guess that's spoiler log, isn't it?
Yeah. What, Jarhead there getting his second shot there on PG3. Now just needs one
And
more
there's
and
our
Pix
go mode for Pix.
getting that sword. That is.
a sword.
I'm
That is our
sure he
goal
is
mode.
not happy to see that.
Specifically, like straight on pot room too, of course.
So, yeah,
which is, like,
especially right there.
that would be the next thing. Yeah.
Yeah, he left the dungeon literally like one room away from his
Yeah.
go mode.
And again, I wonder even if it's like, because those other locations that he checked are definitely lower sphere than pot room, because pot room is behind all the DRC small keys. So that may have even factored into
Yeah.
it slightly. Particularly because we didn't actually find all the small keys. Or I think like maybe Great Fish had the one that we didn't have or something.
We didn't find all the small keys, sort of, but like we also peeked several key chests that we didn't pick up.
That we
you
didn't
know,
get,
so,
yeah. So it's always hard to say.
I
don't necessarily know like best logical practices when it gets to key lunacy. I usually just find the keys and I'm like, I'll just go, and then I'll be clearing top of DRC and like, oh yeah, that's right, this is really high sphere, isn't it?
But then also the interesting thing there though is that like, you know, swords can be placed anywhere.
True.
And because the keys are going to be more restricted than the swords, I feel like it's actually more likely to find the sword behind the key at that point.
That might be probability. You might be onto something.
I'd have to, I'm not going to say it with super confidence because I haven't run the numbers.
Wait, how did that swipe not hit Jar? Am I crazy? That looked really close.
He's just too good.
All right. Noted. Actually, I'm just kind of surprised. Ganon with a fake out. Alright, Soup Ganon fight. Pretty standard. Gonna keep the target because otherwise, I think he would have dodged out of the way. And that's gonna be GG's for Jar at a 103-ish here.
103?
They're the fastest time we've seen in Season 6. 103, no, 203, excuse me.
203.50 from Jar.
After a full clear and a little bit of oopsie doopsies.
A little bit of oopsie doopies. And you know, I think if Pix hadn't left DRC right then, it would have been a really close race right at the end.
Yeah, really tight.
I think Jar would have still had a slight lead because Jar was finding his shard right as Pix was doing Goma, but looks like we got the runners coming on in. Welcome in, GG's.
GG's. Thank you.
You figured it out, Jar.
I did figure it out eventually.
It's always a fear that it'll be, yeah.
I almost FF'd. I was just like, I'm just gonna check some places and see what happens.
We got really scared for you because we realized that you logically only had Waterfall and the first chest in Wind Temple, and then you peeked Waterfall and left, and we were like, oh no, there's no way he doesn't get that if he knows it's spiky and his other chest is in Wind Temple.
Yeah.
So
I need to actually go back and check and see what exactly I missed out. I'm tempted to say I saw like the leaves and thought it was the thing. But I need to actually go back and look. Also, I just want to say real fast, new issues popped up for me on Windfall. Some of them had never happened before.
Oh, and the hide and seek.
Yeah, I've never clipped through the wall going up to Bomb Kid, and I have never actually jumped off of the bush going to Blue Kid.
So you also had hide and seek disasters?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was actually, we've been saying, it was like one of those situations where like, because you can have no clue what the other runner's doing, I'm like, I bet they're both like really kicking themselves and like really being like, oh god dang, and like not a great start to the seed, and meanwhile it was like actually really even between the two of you.
I like fell through the street. I don't think I've ever like fallen through the street before.
Oh, wait, is it like, where was it?
Jumping down from Blue Kid.
Yeah.
Dude, that happened to me, but jumping down from Tot Kid. But it was only into the water, so it wasn't a big deal.
I forgot to launch Tot Kid and had to come back.
Oh yeah, that too.
That's right.
Launch Tot Kid's a great way to phrase it.
I do like the term launch. That is good.
I just I'm not used to Pompey and Vera actually being hinted dead, so I like always start with Mila, and then I got to Windfall and I was like, I don't know what to do.
Yeah, like all of my early game stuff was hinted dead except for like Mother and Child, and I almost like super swam from that to like Thorned, and then I realized, oh wait, I can just do Cliff Plateau to Thorned because BPR's also dead.
Yeah, we were laughing. We noticed your coordinated names. And go figure, there's like, and immediately they are hinted nothing, so that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
And what were your thoughts upon finding your iron boots? For both of you.
Ugh. I was just like, and I was like, at least it was this and not something that was going to make me leave again.
Yeah.
Inspiral would have been very funny.
Yeah, if iron boots were in Dragon Roost Cavern, that would have been...
Yeah, that I was just mentally like ready for it to be the Pearl or like grappling hook to go over to Cabana. I was not emotionally prepared for Iron Boots, and then at that point I was just like, all right, we're just leaning into it. This seed sucks.
Yeah,
I
y'all
did
got
like,
the entrance
though-
rando with spice though. That's for
Yeah,
sure.
this seed had the entrance rando special, Iron Boots and Wind Temple, a Pearl in Tot G, and DRC didn't want to be left out, so it had the grappling hook.
Yeah.
It's kind of just funny.
Oh my god. Hang on. I need to.
Are you looking at it now?
I need to screenshot and show you guys what I saw because that looks so much like spiky to me, or wooden to me rather. I don't know where to put it in ZSR. Can I put
Maybe
it
just
in, like,
post it on the
volunteer
racing Discord and.
All right, yeah, I'll throw it there.
For anyone who wants to, anyone who wants to join us in the racing Discord, Racing Wind Waker Randomizer is very cool.
It is a lot of fun.
And there's a lot of good people. But,
Like, tell me that doesn't look wooden.
let's see. Oh, it's tough because it's behind the tree.
Yeah, it's true.
I see no spikes on it.
I could see
Oh,
how you
yeah,
could, I
that's-
could see how you could mistake that. I could see. How
Yeah,
you could
that's
mistake
pretty
that.
hard to see.
That's tough.
I've seen no qualities that look like spiky to me on that.
I normally look for the color if I can't see it very well, and I just feel like that color is so hard to see with the tree there.
Yeah, like the only color I see on it is the brown, and I think that's from like the trim.
It's like the
thing.
dark red, yeah.
That's
Yeah.
keeping down for picks in the past.
I think, yeah, congratulations, picks in the past. I think what you're seeing here, because you're seeing the red of the chest, and then the yellow of one of the spikes is making it look like the dark brown and the light brown,
Yeah,
is what it...
But yeah.
probably something like that. But oh well.
Anyway, next week though, game 2. Are these going to be the runners' agreements? Are we sticking? Are we going to try something different, or have you just not thought? Slash
Honestly, picks you can decide because I'm fine with either doing it or changing it.
I will let you know tomorrow. I think these settings are super fun. I really like them, but I cannot play like I can't play this like on a day that I also am in the office for 9 hours because I like could not focus. And I think it's just I don't know. I feel like if I watch my gameplay back, it's gonna look like I'm like drunk out there. I like was moving. I feel like I was just moving like so terribly. And there was just so many like focus issues. So
bracket matches are also just a whole nother beast too. At least for me, I don't know. I don't know if you feel that at all, but like definitely, I know when I run them, I'm like, oh geez,
Yeah,
I can't control my emotions enough for that.
same.
I didn't really feel super nervous. I didn't have high expectations. My goal was to make top 24. I'm really proud of like that progress to this point. So I didn't have anything. Didn't have any goals beyond this point. So
Sure.
It was just kind of like, oh, I'm like okay, I'm 2 items from go mode, or 3 or 4 items from go mode at this point, just like shards and like a sword and the grapple. And so I was just like, well, I guess I'm gonna start skipping stuff. I've been playing really terribly, and I'll see if I can like play back into this. And it kind of worked out. Towards the end, it just bailed on it a little bit too soon.
Oh, yeah, I think Blank mentioned that you skipped some stuff in Wind Temple. I didn't think I noticed. I think Jarhead was starting to look for his stuff. So I was like, oh.
My disgracefulness distracted you.
I did the.
Yeah, I've been there before. I literally did it like 2 days ago. I missed something. I don't remember what. So there we go. Yeah, GG's for picks.
GG's to picks. Killed Ganon on restream. Final time of 2:11:33. Yeah, we were also saying this is a pretty exciting match narratively too, because Jarhead is a runner that's took a break for a while, but has been around for quite a while of the Wind Waker Rando life.
Mid-season 2.
Yeah, that's quite a while. Now it's season 6, and Pix on the other hand played his first seed of Wind Waker in April when we announced the Mini Blends tournament.
Oh
so.
God.
Seeing you both in top 24, it's pretty exciting.
That's pretty cool, I think.
Got another classic boomer versus zoomer going on.
I know it's you and Tanjo are just gonna wreck me and Tweety.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry.
No.
Oh wait, Tweety's against Tanjo too, isn't she?
Yeah, we just flipped.
Oh
we
my
just
god,
flipped
I
spots.
forgot about that. That's awesome, actually.
Dang.
Yeah, I think that's what I described when I filled out the bracket. I was just
Order
like, Tanjo's
66. Oh,
Tanjo's
no.
gonna execute Order 66 on the mini blitz.
Oh, that's oh, jeez.
Oh, no.
Not like this. Not like this.
That's hilarious.
Well, all right, fellas. Well, we'll see you back, hopefully on ZSR restream next week for hopefully an exciting game too. But otherwise, Ricky, what we got for ZSR going on?
We are done for the night, but tomorrow, Wednesday at 4 p.m. Eastern, we have a Link to the Past Randomizer Cross Keys tournament match, brackets top 16, game 1 between Wolfie and Vinter. At 7 p.m. Eastern, we have a Wind Waker Randomizer Season 6 tournament match between KitKat and Montgoal, game 1. And at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, we have a Majora's Mask Randomizer tournament match between Sinai and Will X48. So, Wednesday's got a lot of good content for us tomorrow. Any last words for the runners before we wrap up?
Hopefully, words of the wise, make sure that your chest isn't behind a tree.
Live fast, skip checks. Thank y'all for the restream. I think it'll be fun to watch back.
Thank you very much.
Alright, and with that, I want to thank our runners, JarheadHME and Pix. Please follow them. I put their links in the chat. Also, thank our commentators, Koala and Clarion, and our trackers, J-Dude and Blank Zai. That's going to do it for everybody. Please follow everyone's links. And that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. Hope you had a wonderful time, and have a fantastic rest of your night. Bye!
See ya.
Peace.
Bye.